What you over there smacking on, man? You look. See, this is where I'm fucking up at. I need another light on me, man. My boy over here is looking quite decadent out here.
See, y'all make me want to put my y'all make me want to put my color lights on since y'all want to be all in the dark and shit.
Yeah. Do what you got to do.
That's what you got. Nah, that's too.
Let's see what kind of colors I got.
Hello. I don't know if anybody's in the room yet, but we are. So we are live and direct on Twitch.
You know, facts.
Got the young Traffic Volume 1 and Power and Intention and High Tide playing in the background.
Gotta love that, man. Thank you.
Which are all Slot A projects. Oh man, my back is killing me right now. Gotta get me a new chair.
Yo, I just randomly got one over the holiday.
Yeah.
Went to Costco, bro. They had a lazy boy, man. That's what I'm sitting in right now. Feel like an old man with this.
A lazy boy computer chair.
Yeah, man. I didn't know they made them. That as if I turn around, they have the lazy boy emblem right behind me, man.
If Mike was here, he would say, "Are you balling?"
Well, he's actually in the chat. He said, "Hello, Bear Ron."
I see him in the chat.
Oh shit, what's happening, man? He keep fucking my name up on purpose, and I know that means he loves me, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know how Mike roll. That's his bi.
Oh my god, nah, he's good for that.
Mm-hmm. You see, he said I was a hater, of course.
Of course, man. He be coming in there to the chats while I'm playing. Homie will be like, "No poverty, right? No poverty, Mike.
No poverty, man. No poverty life.
No poverty life at all, man."
That shit was funny. What's up, Will Mofo? Thanks for stopping through. We're just getting started here. Got the homie Slot A in from Chicago. Or Ypsilanti? Ypsilanti.
Ips.
Fascist. Just say fascists.
Huh?
Not like you just said fascists.
Nah, I said it's just too much. I'm about to move this light, so I'm trying to see if I can. Whatever, man. Life comes at you fast, and you have to make decisions, man, and that's how you win, kids. Remember that.
Oh, you used to live there. All right, that's what's up.
Babies.
You got a hometown person in the chat.
Shout out to Will, man. Where's he from?
He said he used to live in Ipsy. Ipsy,
yeah. Don't be a Trump. Ooh, I see what you did there, Jay. Trump pansy. I like that. That's
yeah.
Hey, they out here, Jack.
Yo, I was gonna say, man, y'all kind of like from the home of the Klan. Like, how is shit in Indy? Like,
well, it depends on what town you're in.
That's true.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Indy.
You know what's crazy? I used to drive down there all the time to come kick it with my mom, and it wasn't until I want to say 2019 when I wasn't coming down there that I realized that Whitestown in Brownsburg or some shit like that, were like sundown towns.
No, those are actually mild joints.
There are more serious ones. There are more serious ones, but
yeah, those are mild joints. I was actually in Brownsburg today working. Yeah, that ain't that bad. I'll take Brownsburg any day.
But Martinsville, Elwood,
Mooresville.
There's a handful of them. Martinsville.
So my bad. So anybody's name, like, I shouldn't really be worried about the color names. It's the motherfuckers that got the first, like a first name for a city.
Yeah, the Vills and the what's the other word that's common? I don't know, but I know Mooresville and Martinsville and Greenfield. Them mugs is kind of lame. on that type shit. Matter of fact, the day when they did the Trump train, like all over the country,
and nobody paused.
Well, the day that it was happening all over the country, I just so happened to be working in Martinsville that day. So imagine me, mind you, this is my first day working in Martinsville. So imagine me being out here and I just keep seeing all these trucks with big ass Trump flags on them. I'm like, man, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this how they get down out here? Is that just how they roll around on a day-to-day basis? And I just start. Yeah, well, come to find out it was Trump train day. I thought it was just a normal occurrence out there because of where I was at. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't even make me better eye to it. Then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If it's a countrywide thing going, I started to get a little worried.
Just, I don't know. That show used to blow me because like I'd go see my mom in Detroit. And then I come back down and right by the highway, right on 94. As soon as you start passing, I think it's like the something Fire Casino. It's like maybe a mile or two before it. It's this whole area that's all decked out in Trump 2020 shit.
Yeah,
and it's just, I remember I know that shit was never for me in the first place, but I guess the most interesting thing is that like normally racism was kind of one of those things you had to go into a town and feel. I didn't need to see that shit advertised from the highway.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was just, I don't know, that's weird as hell to me, man.
Well, you know, that's a common occurrence too, because like if you traveled anytime during this election season, driving anywhere, you would see a lot of Trump stuff up. You would rarely see anything that said Biden on it. But if you was in like country and rural towns on the highway going somewhere, you would always see something talking about vote for Trump. So he definitely spent his money on being seen, because you know that's his favorite thing to do anyway.
That part. Nah, shit. I remember. Like, I remember initially whenever you leave, I know whenever you leave a major city, there's a couple signs that you see. There's some black signs that ask you to come find Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. The big ass cross too.
Yeah, big cross, come on to Jesus, but it don't really look like it. Like if McDonald's is red and yellow and Walgreens is like red and blue, why do you think black and white will work really well for Jesus? I never, you might want to warm him up some. But
no, I think they got that off the, remember when Got Milk came out and it was just black and white?
Yeah.
I think they jacked that when they started doing the Jesus signs all over the place.
They could at least flip the colors, man. At least like
they riding with it, Jack.
Shit,
Every time I would, go ahead.
Go. Shit, I remember going down to St. Louis for my homie's wedding, and I want to say that was like maybe 2 to 3 years ago. And right off the highway, it's big ass farm that has, if you don't like Trump, if you love Trump, honk your horn. Big ass, you know what I'm saying? But you can see shit right off the highway. It's the same, man. But go ahead, bro. My bad.
Same type of thing. Sans Trump. It's like every time you go down south to, I used to see when I would go down to South Carolina, but when you drive through, I believe it's a part in Kentucky. It's like this huge like adult world on 75. Then there's this huge fucking cross. And it's just crazy because the cross is like right next to the adult world in the same exit. It says some shit like God's judging you or something. I don't know.
Well,
it's just like mind your business, man. Like I'm being freaky over there. You be freaky, you know what I'm saying? You be Christy over here, man.
Christy.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the
Christy over there?
What? Let's since we're kind of talking about this, what's the craziest thing that you think you've seen or witnessed in maybe the last in the Trump era? You know, that maybe even that shocked you, that even more so. You know, like I feel like it's hard to be shocked anymore about much of anything. But what's the craziest thing that you can remember from the last handful of years?
Man,
what do you guys think? I know it's a big ass question.
Craziest?
No, well, shit. At least for me, over the summer, like we had riots here twice, and they lasted, like the looting and shit lasted like maybe 3 or 4 nights, maybe even almost out to a week. On the second one, they knew how to bring it down a little bit quicker, but seeing that shit happen, the craziest to me still is the children being disassociated from their parents at the border.
Yeah. The crazy thing with that too is that was actually still going on in the Obama era as well. I mean, even before. I think it's just.
It's just. I mean, it's all bad.
I don't know if it was worse or not, honestly, but.
Well, I don't think. I mean, at least I think we were seeing the beginnings of it. He just put. I think he got so clumped into it because of the association of him. The fact that he had shat on so many immigrants, and then that was also a story,
right?
That came along with it.
The one thing I will say about the Trump era is that he definitely highlighted and brought all the racism to the forefront.
Yeah,
like
he did that well.
Like before, everything was really, really subtle for the most part. And I mean, outside of your, you know, the blatant, you know, Steve Bannons and shit, you know, and the Nazis, but he's really kind of helped highlight just all the subtleties. And I don't know if it was just because he was so him, or if it's just the time that we're at, like in the world right now.
You know what's crazy, man? It wasn't until he ran for president that I knew he was really racist like that.
He got put on such a platform.
Yeah, like whatever bugged him about the Obama. I guess it was probably that joke where he got roasted like a motherfucker at the correspondence dinner.
They said that's when he made the decision to actually run, but. Or are you talking about the first one before he was president? Yeah.
Yeah, before he was president, where it was lighting his ass up. And then I don't know what it was about that time, man, that just bugged the fuck out of dude. But ever since then, he was just hella turned. And it was because, you know what I mean? Like, there were hella rap songs about praising the dude.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I'm saying? Like joints where maybe you even forgot the lyrics a little bit, but it'll come on and you end up saying it. You get to that Trump bar and you'll be like,
right,
fuck, I forgot about that. All right.
Shit, Mac Miller had a whole song called.
Say again.
Mac Miller had a song called Donald Trump.
Sure
that
did.
shit didn't age well.
No, well, I mean, everybody did. He was in videos. I think where he messed up at, if he wanted to have a chance of actually uniting people, he should have used some of that power that he had from people shouting him out. And what I mean by that is he could have highlighted it himself, and he could have set himself apart from those groups of people that are indeed racist, whether he's racist or not. I mean, he never denounced certain groups of people, or it took a lot for him to do it, and that's how he fucked up from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know now.
So that's one of the areas he fucked up.
I think we know now is it was just all about him, man. He's just a narcissist. Like, I legit don't think that he cared, man. Personally.
No, he didn't. But he could have faked it. Fake it till you make it.
He's excuse me, but I guess the thing that was the most confusing about his kind of crazy amount of racism that kind of came out of him, bro, is that like you would sit there, you would watch him, like the process for me with Trump was you obviously heard about him being this tycoon, but then he has this whole run as a charismatic financial guy. I guess you could call him that, a real estate guy, for the show that he had. Right? Like, that was a regular thing. Cats watch that shit. He had Omarosa on there, et cetera, et cetera. And then, as soon as the closer he got to the presidency, bro, the iller that shit got. I would feel bad for whoever actually believed dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you
Omarosa was riding for him at first.
Because, like, I think there's like a cult vibe around dude. But I'm not even
it is.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't even know if the people who believe it believe it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if he fucks with the people who believe in the cult. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it strokes his ego that people actually care for him so much. And that was kind of evident with him having that whole, I mean, he was rambling for about an hour, like right before everybody stormed the Capitol. He hyped them up, said he was going to march with them. Of course he didn't. He did let them do all the dirty work. Told him he loved them, and then throw him under the bus once he figured out he was pretty much in deep shit and he had went too fucking far. Conceded, went ahead and conceded, said that conceded to Biden or whatnot. But he's such a narcissist that pretty much fed his power. And it did it in such a way that even his followers, which, like you said, can be considered a cult, they're still denying the Trump supporters' involvement in that whole fiasco that went down. They're blaming it on everybody but them. They're going down to how they're dressed, and Trump supporters don't wear stuff like that. Well, I didn't know it was a uniform. Like, is everybody that's a Trump supporter also Proud Boys, where they all wear the same polo and they're easy to identify? I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's some pretty decent identifiers. Anything. I mean, and this is just on some blanketed shit of a person who just lives in the city. Like John Deere, Oakley's.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the outfit.
Anything with camouflage, a pickup truck. It's just certain, like,
wood camouflage print.
Don't have camouflage on it, and then don't have like the little. It's just like hella aggro shit on the truck. It's like Ford getting pissed on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind
definitely
of
the dualies. The big dually trucks with the diesel engines and extra rev in your car.
Yeah. Like whatever energy it is.
Yeah.
To scare away the hoes, like I thought that was like Trump.
The scare away hoe. They got the repellent.
Yeah. So, that's not like a widespread.
They appeal to them Dixie chicks though.
Shit,
not
they
necessarily
changed their
the
names.
group, but not the group, but the for real Dixie chicks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them here. You just ear hustle while you out, cause like I mean I work out in the field. I'm pretty much around a new load of coworkers every day down there. So the cooler talk that goes on in some of these places is like it's almost so it's funny because a lot of these cats have adapted, like the woke lingo. So remember when all the pseudo woke motherfuckers would say sheep this and stay woke and wake up, all that type shit. It's funny to see them pretty much take on those same terms, but the way they're using it is completely fucked. You know what I'm saying? It's just like y'all are, I swear, I don't know. It's hard to even describe them. But it's funny.
No. All right. Well, did anybody find Did anyone find anything funny about what happened the other day?
No, I didn't think it was funny.
Like it wasn't a little bit of little hee hee ha ha or giggle. Wasn't nothing that y'all found.
I mean, some of the memes were pretty funny, man. Did you see the one where it was like the person climbing over the wall and it was like, this is like Mufasa
with the
Scar.
Mario brothers?
Well, it was like Mufasa
Nah,
and
I seen the
Scar.
one where they pat the Mario brothers. Yeah, that shit was funny.
It was like pushed up and then Scar,
honestly,
like,
to be honest with you, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really feel a big emotional push or pull from that shit, man, because it's almost like I was expecting something to go down like that. Like even when we had talked about this on the new old heads about a month or so back, when we kind of went around was like, so what do you think is going to happen? I remember saying that I think Trump is going to do something to pretty much invoke some shit like this, and people are going to take the bait, because I don't know if y'all remember now, but at first they were saying that, oh, the right, we don't do things like that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And now that it's happened, they're still not taking credit for this shit. It's like, what do y'all take credit for? Like, it doesn't matter what happens right in front of you. It's still fake news.
Yeah, I just don't believe in accountability, cuz. But my bad. Go ahead, Lon.
No, you're good. No, go ahead.
Nah, that's all I was saying. Go ahead.
I mean, some of the stuff it's like hard, like it's like pulling at my morals a little bit, because some of the shit really is funny to me, but at the same time, like I'm trying to like not be an asshole, you know what I mean? But some of the shit was funny. Like did you guys see the Elizabeth from Knoxville, the woman who got maced in the face, and somebody like chopped her
onion on her eyes,
but they chopped her up into like some sort of like song or something. I forget what it was.
Animaniacs.
Yes, the Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was crazy.
Let me pull that up, because that was absolutely hilarious.
My homie Shazam Bangles.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that shit was outside. That shit, I gotta see that. But no, my favorite shit was my homie Shazam Bangles. Normally, he'll take those clips and he'll scratch music on it.
Nice.
And he'll actually scratch the lyrics and shit. But him playing the actual Mace record. Oh shit, that threw me all the way off.
Yeah, see if you can see it, right? Let's see if we got it. You might have to click watch stream. Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta click watch stream. It should come on.
They pushed me on and maced me.
Totally insane.
They pushed me on and maced me.
Those are the facts. We're totally insane.
They pushed me on and maced me.
Those are the facts.
Her laugh at the end is what got me, though. It was like,
yeah, she's. Some of that shit kind of seemed off-put too, because like she was rubbing like an onion or something on her eyes. Like, what was that about?
Clout.
I don't. It's I don't know. You're gonna put onions on your eyes when you get maced? I don't understand the logic, but I mean, maybe.
No, it was clout. I think she was full of shit. I think she wanted to look the part.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that was some bullshit. I don't think she really went in there. However, my man's with the Jamiroquai fit got up in there. And that shit tickled the fuck out of me, man. I was surprised. It was a bunch of like small details that made me laugh. Like seeing the Jamiroquai motherfucker in there, seeing dude walk off with a podium.
I think just the fact that they were so, in general, it was just everybody was so aloof. You know, like everybody was just kind of like, yeah, you know, it's part of it. You know, it's just we're having a good old time in here in the Capitol building. I'm gonna take a podium. I'm gonna pose and put my feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. You know, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna kick it.
It's just, I don't know. It was just weird. I don't know. I've never really seen anything like that.
Well, I mean, shit, the reason you ain't seen it is because you're not supposed to. That's weird shit. Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
cops
some
taking
weird shit.
selfies. Cops taking selfies. Yeah, that's a good one. Mike. That one was kind of weird too.
yeah, cops taking selfies. That shit was strange. The cops breaking the barricades, letting folks in. That was strange.
Oh God, remember? No, I will tell you what was funny to me. The lone black cop that was standing there when this group of people confronted him, and he's trying to talk to him like, stay back. And then he would take a couple steps back and they would come towards him. Then his ass turned around and ran up the stairs. They followed him.
Nah, he definitely can't go back in this house, bro. He can't do nothing tough
Nah.
for the remainder of his days. I ain't gonna lie though, they probably would have fucked him up. No cap.
No.
But what was extra
I'm
crazy
surprised
was,
nobody use no caps.
man, I'm not gonna even
Except
hold
that
you,
lady got
bro.
in the chest.
Yeah, well, I think the Secret Service ain't just let them know that like you have hit your limit. We're gonna throttle you if you pass this point. And Shorty got her service throttled, man.
Man,
Stay woke.
she tried to come. Man, did y'all see the whole video? It's a video. The whole thing is on YouTube. Leading up
Yeah,
to
from
her
both
getting-
sides.
Yeah.
I saw the little video she said, the little video she made on TikTok, just hell upset, talking big shit. And I was kind of confused because I didn't know what angle she was getting at. And then she also didn't use the word libtards. That threw me off.
Mm.
And so after that, man, when they dropped them things on her, man, that shit was real entertainment right there.
You know, they put a real hot one in her too.
And then the other white woman who got punched in the face by the cop, the black female cop, because she wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
She left her shit leaking. That was pretty interesting.
What's their favorite saying? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I mean,
It's just you could just tell she's been going through a lot. Like the cop who punched her, like she used to have to fight niggas because that was like it was one blow. It wasn't really like a dual blow. It was just one real nice place shot right above her brow, and she just bled like it was nothing.
you know what?
So
I didn't
that was
actually
Tamika
watch.
from the neighborhood. They used to pick fights.
Is
I
that
didn't even like watch a lot of it, to be honest, man. Like I was really kind of removed. I was just like, oh, this shit's going down. And outside of like a handful of memes and reading some stuff on Twitter, maybe for like 30 minutes, like I tried my best just to ignore it, man. I can't. I think it's just because I'm so ready for him to just go away, and all this stuff like related to him. Like
I was happy to watch it. Like I was damn near elated that it was going down like that. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't funny. It didn't evoke emotion like that, but it was almost, I don't know. It was kind of rewarding a little bit. Hate to say it, but it was.
yeah. Well, let's transition a little bit. Anybody, if you got anything in the chat, any questions that you want us to talk about with Young Slotty Divock here, go ahead and throw those out there. But let's I've known Slot for a minute, and so's Terry, and we know each other. We have, inside jokes about poverty and a whole bunch of things, and he stayed with me. I've been up there and, up in Chicago, we've got a little bit of history, definitely a lot of clowning moments. But one thing that I don't know if we've ever really talked about that maybe I would be kind of interested in, and maybe the viewers would be interested in is, you've obviously, it's one of them, them basic questions, but like when you were growing up, like what was the moment when you were growing up? And the crazy thing is I've actually interviewed you before. I forgot about that for the Drums Bang thing back in the day. But like, what was the moment when you were growing up where you were just kind of like, I don't know, maybe music would be fun to do. You know what I mean? Like, and you kind of like thought that it could potentially be something that you actually pursue. I don't hear you. Is your mic off?
Here we go. Y'all hear me now?
Got you. Yep.
My bad. I had muted. Those are two different moments, but the moment that made me want to do it, my pops had just passed. My brother had, inherited his Chrysler LeBaron, and my brother, being the young 16-year-old he was, threw a pair of 10s in it. Actually, no, it was just one single 10-inch sub, and we started playing G's Up by This Is for the G's and This Is for the Hustlers off the Doggy Style album. And I got a chance to touch the subwoofer for the first time while he was setting it up, and he had just turned it on, and I was like, yo, I don't want to build a speaker, but I want to make what's moving in this speaker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was the first moment, and then the thing that let me know I could potentially do it was it was all right, man. You remember back in the day when motherfuckers used to download shit from LimeWire? You sit there and download a whole Eminem album or whatever the fuck you was listening to at the time, but there would be certain records that weren't that record. Like somebody changed the name and it was Soulja Boy or some crazy shit.
Okay.
They were sneaking.
I got put on.
You.
Yeah, sneak a track in on me, man. And I was a big Eminem fan at that time. And somebody had spelled the name of a record wrong or maybe misled me. But that record led me to all the Rockets shit. Rockets was like the thing that kind of let me know that like I might have had I potentially had a place in hip hop.
Got you.
Yeah. Like I remember listening to Sound Bombing 2, Going to Get Black on Both Sides, Train of Thought, all that shit. I just wanted to be high tech. You know what I mean?
What was why were you such a huge Eminem fan?
Man, you was dope. Shit, I like Nas. I'll always like Kool G Rap. And he always kind of, at least in terms of his patterns and shit, it was always dope to hear. And then to hear somebody else who was maybe 30, 40 miles up the road from you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we grew up listening to Top Authority, MC Breed, and shit like that, but those dudes were older. And then when I saw him, he was a little bit closer to my age. And then some of my homies, like some of my big homies who I later in life got cool with, like Buff One and 14KT.
Yep.
You know, they were like the generation after him. And I was like, man, I kind of want to get on that. Like, I want to make beats that he would rap on or somebody of that, you know what I'm saying, caliber will rap on. We used to sit on LimeWire and just look for freestyles.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that era, yeah.
Hell yeah, like mixtape records. Because like at that time, well, like 106 Park battles was popping. So you find a really dope battle rapper on there and you end up listening to a whole idea.
Jim?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Jid was dope.
Yeah, man.
Or Jen, I mean, I said Jid.
I think
Remember Blind Fury?
Blind Fury, Idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just end up sitting there
Shit,
listening to the
that's
shit.
where Sky Zoo came up at.
Yup. Listen to that shit, and then I think the real big nail in the coffin from not nail in the coffin, but like the real thing that pushed me was when Kanye got on. It was some of the reasoning was a little dumb. Like I was in college thinking about dropping out because I was just trying to get away. It was just a lot of weird shit back home. So I was like, man, let me get the fuck up out of here. And I thought I guess I wasn't paying attention that well. I thought he had did it in Chicago, only to find out he did it in Newark. But probably one of the best decisions I ever made, man. I wouldn't have met my wife out here. I would have met all the homies I created with. And or maybe it would have happened a different way, but yeah, man. But yeah, that was like the big push for me. That's what I got into it.
I think when I think about like when I started, it's so we didn't have like that type of style or level of hip hop artist in Indiana. You know, like it was always looking elsewhere. So it's always interesting to hear. Or I'm always interested in hearing like how artists feel about, you know, like artists that are like close in their area. You know, like if you live in Chicago, but it's also the same place where Common's from, you know what I mean? And like we just don't have that here in Indy. And me being in a smaller town, even like shit.
You know what's crazy? For y'all not to have like the major artists that, you know what I'm saying, like maybe other cities have, y'all run radio.
Yeah. It's what do you mean by that? You mean just like
Yeah, explain on that. Like what do you mean by we run radio?
From the way that back in the day, man, they used to test records and they still do. That testing software started in Indy. And then when they go to test major records that come out, they test it in Indy. A lot of the dudes like shit. Even, you know what I'm saying, Ron Minor, man, like he was a big record guy, big record promotion guy. You know what I'm saying, all the gangstar shit. Dudes from Indy. Shit, iHeart, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had a different name before they went to iHeart. But that company started, if not in Indianapolis, it definitely started in Indiana.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
That's
but you know more about it than I do.
I mean, it's we're definitely I would say a radio friendly town or city. You know, it's what's on the radio definitely dictates. I mean, that's probably in most places. I don't know.
Kind of depends. It depends on where you at, because like I would say more younger, but at the same time, like I know when I was young, majority of the stuff that people listen to here was like down south shit, like P and A-Ball, MJG, UGK, and then East West Coast like SIBO and E40, Too Short,
Brother Lynch Holmes, shit like that.
Brother Lynch, yeah, all that type shit. So like it almost felt like that shit was Midwest. MC Breed, like, I mean, he's Detroit though, or Michigan at least, not Detroit, but
Flint. Yeah, same
Dayton
shit
family.
Though.
Yeah,
hell
Dayton
yeah,
family. All that type shit. That shit was big here. And then 96.3 started with Crazy Bill Shirk or whatnot. That's when they like for real start playing the hip hop shit that you would see on TV. Like, cause most of the time you didn't really hear a whole bunch of hip hop on the radio, unless it was like I remember North Central had a radio station. I want to say it was called Yo 810 or something. that would come on like the weekends, and the students would play hip hop. But there wasn't a big hip hop radio station here like that until 96.3 started. And then they kind of just took over because it was like nobody had ever heard no shit like that on the radio. It was all WTLC, like R&B and soul, and then you had WZPL with the rock and roll and all that type shit. So,
what year is this?
I do see as far as the shift. So that's why it seems like you probably onto something with that. It sounds factual because there was a shift that happened where 96 took over, and all you would hear was that type shit. So,
yeah, like even to this day, like Gucci Mane does some of his best Midwest touring between Detroit, Indianapolis,
out here,
and out
Boosie.
You know what I'm saying? Boosie, like that whole run, like Indianapolis is a part of that Chitlin circuit run.
Yeah, definitely.
Before, you know what I'm saying? Like before, like the hood clubs and shit like that. Like you really start to find that in those areas. Like you might catch it in like the far south side suburbs over here. Milwaukee's another big one. Because I don't know, like you start paying attention to where like certain things crack off. Like a lot of cats from the Bay used to kind of go through Kansas City and Iowa, like what some people would call like C and D markets, and go clean the fuck up.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, all right, cool. Like for me, when I was growing up, we had a store called Puffer Reds in Ypsilanti. That's where you would go. Like this is back in the time, y'all know this shit, man. Like where you can go get an album 2 weeks before it's supposed to come out.
Yep.
Be the first person with
definitely capitalize on that. Yeah.
Burning CDs, et cetera, burning tapes, but that's how we found out about everything. But they had to come in and do like meet and greets at the store.
In stores, yeah.
Yep, doing in stores, meet and greets at the store. You go, all right, man, you might have went to go grab the new Outkast, and then somebody would have suggested something else. Hey, man, take this. It's a new promo from somebody.
Yeah.
And so you just start to see all these different, almost kind of like migration patterns for certain areas.
Yep.
Where like Rap a Lot would have been killing, Suave House would have been killing in Indianapolis, Detroit.
Oh yeah.
But shit,
I grew up in my neighborhood actually had a record store called RC Record, and literally anytime somebody was on a promotional run, you could probably catch them at that record store. I remember Luke pulled up in a tour bus full of Luke girls at the record store. You know what I'm saying?
I already know
Too
that was
Short
crazy.
in town. Yeah, he's at the record store. Scarface is in town. He's at the record store. That type shit. You know what I'm saying? I would watch like BET, The Basement, or Yo MTV Raps, and to hear a new track. And when it would go off, I would walk to the record store just to see if they would have it. And 9 times out of 10, they would already have it.
Yeah.
And just copy it based off what I had just seen on TV.
Yep.
Shoot, that's how my brother, like I remember before Cash Money took off, Hot Boys had that Guerrilla Warfare CD. The shit black and gold 5-point star on it. And I remember hearing Tuesdays and Thursdays and shit like that. And that was how we found out about it. It was because my brother would go up to the store, he would go skip school or smoke weed or whatever. Sorry, I'm throwing my brother under the bus. I apologize, Brandon. But it's because of you, I know some cool shit
out there.
That part. But nah, man, you know, he was interested in music. He was 9 years older than me. He was my older brother. So shit, I remember sitting in salon with my mom, you know what I'm saying, and listening to AZ's Do or Die album, not knowing who the fuck that was. But my brother, the only way I knew about him was because the Life's a Bitch record by Nas. And so you know what I'm saying? I end up cuffing his tapes, but he would just end up bringing more tapes into the house. Like that's how I found out about SIBO, Brother Lynch Hung, just a lot of shit. MC8,
Spice One.
Oh my god.
You sound like you came up the same way I did. My brother would cop all the shit. I would confiscate it from him.
And go sit in the salon with my mom, man. Be in there, motherfucker, for 3 hours, 4 hours while she got her hair done, doing homework, and listening to shit I wasn't supposed to be listening to. But if that, you know what I'm saying? But if that doesn't happen, none of this happens.
Right.
Yeah.
When did you meet? And you mentioned some cats from the athletic Mike League era with 14KT and Buff One, Jamal Buford.
Yeah.
Mayor Hawthorne was part of that. When did in your path and everything, when did you meet those guys?
So, one of my friend's big brother, his name is Lauren. My best friend Lauren, his brother was named LeVar. His brother LeVar and my brother were like closer in age, but LeVar was friends with all them because they all went to Huron High School. And so while LeVar still cuts hair to this day, but he was a really dope barber, so that's where we used to go kick it at. And while we're over there listening to like, you know, Ali Vegas freestyles and Big L and shit, he would sneak their records in. And so one day I was like, you know, I just started making beats. I was really bad. And he had been keeping notice of, you know what I'm saying, me making beats. And he was like, hey man, you know what? Let me pass this to 14KT to see what he think. And I didn't hear nothing from him for years. I was on my way back. I had left Ipsy to Chicago, moved to New York. And on my way back, I got cool with Jamal and 14KT on MySpace. Like, while I was younger in high school, we used to just kind of pass each other. We were just kind of orbiting each other every time.
Right.
There was another place called the Neutral Zone where they used to do volunteer and do shows and shit as AML and, you know, Binary Star. My first session was with One Below.
Okay.
But when me and... For sure. But when I met Buff, we met over MySpace, man. And then when I finally moved back, because I had like a weird situation out there where I ended up getting evicted. As soon as I got back, man, that was the first person I met. First person I kind of locked in with. And then from there, this was like when AML's, I don't think it was the 𝐒𝐫𝐞 album. I think he was just starting to go solo. He had like a mixtape with this joint called 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐚 on it. And I was like, man, who the fuck produced this shit? This sounds crazy. Cause they had a whole team. It was Mayor Hawthorne, Von T. It was a couple of them. I didn't get a chance to end up meeting Mayor till hella late. But man, one day, me and 14KT are talking on MySpace. He was like, yo, you back in the city? Yup. Oh, yeah, I'm here, man. He literally pulled up. I kind of fanboyed when he came in the crib because I admired his beat so much. And he was kind of in the beginning of, this was like maybe the year, because it was about 07. Yeah, this is like 07 before he got into the big tune beat battle shit.
Ah, okay.
And
that's really kind of what made him somewhat more of a household name, was the big tune shit.
Yeah, you know, like him going and winning that shit. I watched him. I got hella inspired. You know what I'm saying? Because it was him, Kenny Keys, tall black guy. Those maybe not KT so much. I knew about him more so from AML and being back home, but I knew about Tall Black and Kenny Keys from the beat battle scene here. I was too young to get into those clubs. My homie Vanish was always battling, so I'd stay outside just to find out what happened, and eventually you get brought in because you get cool with the door guy.
Right.
You know? So that's how that whole thing came together. And then I guess at a certain point, I don't know what it was, man. I kind of started making my, like, me and Ad started working, me and Neak started working. We started making decent headway, and I kind of lost contact with Buff. And then I forgot one day he had, I think it was the Black Opera situation that he had at Mellow Music.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting something placed with him on there, and then something placed with him on his solo album. And then from there, man, we've always just kind of been cool. Just he hit me up whenever, I hit him up whenever.
He seems like a really cool cat, man. Like, I've never met him. We follow each other on Twitter. I've been following his career for years, but he seems like a really cool cat. I mean, both those dudes do. Him, 14, and Jamal.
Yeah, what was crazy was talking to KT was the first time I got. You know how people always say that they're people who do music really well. They call them aliens and shit.
Yeah.
Well, he was the first alien I had met, like real close.
Yeah.
Because normally, you know what I'm saying, you have talented people who are very smart, but don't, because that shit is like water to them. They don't understand why you're so taken aback by the talent and the skill set. They just feel like it's normal.
Yeah.
And so I would go listen to, like, he just have them shits up on, like, a good day for me was when I knew, I think it was Prolific Soundtrack and 14KT had added new records to their fucking MySpace page. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was one of them days that I would go listen and go get super inspired. And I remember hearing Delighting You. I believe that's,
I don't know.
I think it's from the Golden Hour.
Okay.
And the bounce was crazy. The snare sound, like, not even the snares, it was a big ass clap. But it was loose, it was tight. And then he had this video come out. Because one day I asked him, because he came by, I was playing beats, he was playing beats. And I was like, yo, man, so what are you making beats on? I was making beats on Fruity Loops at the time. And I thought, I was doing it wrong with the Fruity Loops, man. And the man showed me how he made beats, dog, and it was an Adobe Edition.
Oh, wow. That's...
And so if you ever get a chance to, it's on YouTube, man. It's a video called NNE Mode. That's Nathan fucking Elephant Mode 14KT, or I think it'll probably be under an account called like I'm a Beanie or some shit like that.
This is,
and
I just pulled it
he
up.
shows you, pull that shit up, man. And it's the process, dog. And for as talented as bro is, to make music like this, insane. Go to YouTube. I think that's the song. You want to see him making it.
Got you. All right. You said NNE Mode?
Yeah. 14KT.
Let's see what we got. It looks like the song.
Let me see if I can find it on my end.
Comparing 14K gold to 18K gold.
Nah. It might be under I'm a Beanie. So let me see.
Oh, that's his alternate ego, right?
Yeah.
Is the project that he just put out was like a jazz inspired record. Pretty crazy.
I didn't get a chance to listen to that. I'm actually kind of heartbroken about that. I mean, it's not like I don't have ample time to do it now, but I haven't. Let me see, man. It was. Beanie. I forgot the homie's name who was. Let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, God. Okay. Where is it?
Crazy hard searching for him.
I'm just going to put 14KT making a beat and see what I get. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's on Ose Moore's page. It's making a beat with 𝐂𝐫 notes. Can I share the link with you?
𝐂𝐫 notes? Yeah. Drop it.
All right.
Let's see it. Making a beat with 𝐂𝐫 notes. I got you. I already got it.
Yeah, that one. Yep. Perfect.
Words. Here we are, my man 𝐂𝐫 Notes crib. It's the exact replica picture right there. Here's the lab. This is where it all goes down, right here.
Yep.
Excited, man.
This the is, man. This is the is. This is where everything goes down.
Yeah, man. Got the comp set up, turntable set up.
Yep.
I bet this was like
Motif set up.
crazy high quality video
Keyboard, motif.
when it
At
came
that
out.
time? Hell yeah.
That's what you're hearing right now.
I also don't think this was the original
A little
upload,
bit, but all the
maybe
good,
it is.
good stuff. That's where all the gems come from, right? Yeah.
Of course.
Associations. What we hearing right now? This is the setup right here, man. Cats ain't gonna
Bro,
believe
and they chop samples in this shit.
Exactly what it be going down.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
nuts.
That's it.
This is the beat machine,
Look
right?
at that computer.
This. See this little screen right here? With all these tracks that you're just supposed to record on? That's what I make beats on.
Freaking it.
And you're not even supposed to.
They sound amazing.
It's
all that
like
matters.
I think I watched something about Apollo Brown making beats on the
Same shit.
was it the
It's
same
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, it's the same
Pretty
exact
much
thing, bro.
What he's doing is he just takes each little portion instead of panning it
But
out.
what I do have is this. I do have a metronome. I'm just watching it. It's not on though. But I do have a metronome.
That's crazy.
Do you have the original break?
The original break?
Yeah. This is the original break, and he just cuts out the little pieces and just lines them up.
Cool
gives it
edit.
his own
Yeah.
little
That's what he
swing.
used.
Yep.
Like, that's the portion he used. So it's like the same method of like banging it out on the drum pad. It's just that yours is
I'm banging out
sliding.
on the
Man,
mouse.
the thing is, they just kind of look at that. It got a dope little swing to it. Yeah. So,
Wait till you get to just like the chopping samples and shit.
that's crazy, man.
I just chop it like this while my drums is playing.
Exactly.
How is he doing that?
You see what I'm saying?
That's crazy. You know, that takes me back to like, I don't know how you started making beats, but like I started making beats in Acid Music. And I didn't use any type of hardware for the longest time. And so I always felt weird for the longest time because I used like all my drum programming, all my sampling, everything I did was straight like click with the mouse, drag shit over, try to manually swing it. And I don't know. I always felt like a little anomaly for a while, but especially when you met like a hardcore or like hardware head.
Yeah.
But,
Shit, no, like I remember. All right, so I was trying to have these conversations with KT about how the fuck he made beats,
right,
and about drum selection and shit. And the thing that he would tell me, he was the first person to tell me this shit. Bro, I be using the same thing everybody else got. I'm like, what? How do you get your drums like that? Bro, I just be using the same shit everybody else has. And he wasn't being mean. He wasn't being rude. He was just being real. And then I had the same conversation with DiBiase years later. I was talking to him, you know what I'm saying? Videos and shit back and forth. And then I just got the 1000. This was around the time I made 1404. And I just got the 1000. I wasn't fucking with the beats like that. I didn't really like how the beats was turning out. And so I'm like, hey, I hit him up. I'm like, hey man, I don't mean to be too, you know what I'm saying, invasive. I know a lot of people, you know, a lot of producers hold secrets and shit. I know that's the thing. I don't mean to be rude, but yo, how are you doing this? Years later, we talk about it again. And he's just making it sound hella normal, bro. Like a normal, I wouldn't say normal person, but like a person normally who has a 1000 probably makes about like maybe a 4 or 8 beat loop, and then copy and paste that, and then they make their changes. This man would do so many of them, but by the end, he will be able to make a whole song with drops, everything inside the MPC. I'm talking drum skips,
right,
all by hand. Random changes in sample just for like, you know, you wanted just to change the chops for the first 4 bars or something, like first bar. He would do everything. It'd be a 72 bar beat.
Yeah.
Waiting on you, a whole fucking full song and that shit. And he'd do remixes on them, like in the MPC. Bro, think about this. Remixes. Lining up a vocal. Then chopping the beat and then going through that shit. And you'd ask him about it. You couldn't really get like a clear answer. Hey man, how are you doing this shit? Like, are you piecing this together, man? Hey man, and this is DiBiase voice. Man. I don't know, man. I just be doing this shit. I think about it and then I just do it. I watched Mad Lib on man, I was so excited for Mad Lib to be on the Red Bull Music Academy shit. I was excited. I was like, man, I'm gonna finally learn some shit from him. And the whole time he's super short.
Yep.
And he's saying the same exact things. Is the shit that KT told me, the same shit that fucking DiBiase told me. Yo, so was it weird? Like, I forgot the Asian cuz name, man. But dude asked him, hey,
Mao.
bro. Yeah, is that his name, Mao?
Chairman Mao. Is that what he went by? I think.
The bald dude. He kind of got like a light buzz and shit.
Yeah, I met him. Where did I meet him at? I don't know, but I think that's what he goes by. I think it was like Chairman Mao, or I'm probably fucking it up. But.
Yeah, but like Mao's asking these simple ass questions that do you just think they'll almost be like a cue to ask more questions,
right?
And so like, what's the process of working with Doom? And he, oh man, shit, we go to the club, we go get some drinks.
Yeah, I remember that.
Shit, I'll go make some beats, and shit, he'll be asleep, and he might go drink or something. You know how Doom do. And then shit, while I'm asleep, he writing, and then we start recording, and then I'll make more beats while he rapping. And you just sitting there like,
wow. But
no, it's not wow at all. Like for me, it's like, nigga, if you the fuck, like, if you don't say something about the equipment, if you don't, you know what I'm saying, get some real game, some shit.
That's the wow. That's all you got to say.
These cats ain't teachers, Jack. They just know how to use this. They just know how to use the equipment. They can't teach you nothing.
But that's why I learned.
That's where the alien come in at. That's where the alien come in at.
Yeah.
But you know what I realized with Alien met? It was just you keep looking for this amazing shit that's outside of yourself and it's already in you. It just might take you some time to get to it.
Tap into it.
Yeah. This shit, like, I don't know. I've been listening to this dude named Alan Watts. Okay. On YouTube, man. If you ever want to learn about Buddhism or, you know, kind of find your chi or whatever the case may be. But one of the things he said was nature, the definition of nature in China is a thing that happens without you doing anything to it. That's nature. Like you breathing, that's nature. You don't have to, you're not physically doing all of that shit. No, like, you know what I'm saying? You're doing it, but you're not necessarily thinking about it. It's just happening. Same thing with fucking flowers growing, et cetera, et cetera. But that's what he said. He was like, man, some of this shit is just nature to people. And then once I got that in my head, I was like, all right, cool. All the questions I'm asking for is just going to come from me being frustrated. It's never going to come from the person I'm looking up to. It's never going to, you know what I'm saying? You're never going to sit in the room with being a big ass fan of DJ Premier. And he could tell you about the samples. He could tell you about the breaks. He could tell you how to use a skip. But that shit flow through him like water, man.
Yeah. So what would you say would be the most rewarding musical goal that you've accomplished thus far?
Man, it was two. They were all connected through Jamila. Going on tour was the biggest endorphin rush. It was a 6-week endorphin rush. And but the thing that really, really, really was like the proudest moment, because my mom has never seen me DJ, at least prior to the Jamila tour. And you know what I'm saying? I used to spend hella time in their basement, man. Nothing crazy ever happened. Nothing super crazy ever happened. It would always be some underground shit. And being able to grab like a Rolling Stone with my name in it for a project that I worked on, that was player. That was real. That was probably like the biggest highlight, because I was able to show my mom, who I put her through some shit for this, you know what I'm saying? So to be able to at least show her that it wasn't in vain, you know what I'm saying?
That's dope. So what was it like on tour though? Like what was that experience like?
So I've, you've gone out of town to go do shows and shit. This was like you get in the car with your homies, you go drive and shit. This was different. It wasn't like one of them big ass buses, but it was a bus.
It was like actually kind of official.
Yeah, it was like a real official tour. Like you was gonna be gone for 6 months. 6 weeks. You weren't gonna come back home. You know what I'm saying? For a week, and then go out and do 2 shows and come back. It was dope. It was one of the things, like, me and her got closer, which really helped us. I mean, we were already pretty cool, but being around each other for so long was really dope. And then waking up in a new city and knowing the only thing I had to do was music, because I had just left Apple, and that was a big thing for me. Was like, nah, man, I'm gonna jump into this music shit all the way. I don't want to half and half it. I don't want to play with this shit. I really want to go in, not with the thought of being somebody who's gonna do something as an auxiliary, like teach music, but like, nah, man, I want to be able to make my money and be able to perform in front of people. Just waking up every day, and the only thing I had to do was music, and it was all gonna be music centered. And if I wanted to make a beat right here, I could go do it. If I found a new record I like, I could go play it in front of a large ass crowd. And, you know, just a serotonin from meeting different people, bro. It was different. Going to Toronto and going, like, I think we had like she got sick when we went to Toronto. She wasn't able to perform that day, so we just ended up kicking it in Toronto, like walking through Chinatown, Queens West, just getting a chance to like see different people, see how people were giving it up, and it was ill. It made me. It also let me know how much of the country I haven't seen. I didn't realize the mountains was gonna be such a big thing for me. Like as soon as we went west, because I think that was after we had left Texas, we had went to Denver, and then we did like a whole West Coast stretch.
Yeah.
Seeing them mountains, seeing them deserts, seeing like particularly when we went up to Vancouver, man. Like that was the last show of the night. I mean, last show of the tour, and ending that shit in Vancouver, looking at them big ass clouds and mountains, and that shit was insane.
Yeah, shit is different. I remember visiting my grandmother in Cali in the summertime, and it would seem like where you were at, you were surrounded by mountains, like in the distance. But they were in the distance, but they were so big. It's almost like you can't even really describe it because it was kind of foggy, so you could barely see them, but you could see them, and they were just everywhere you looked. It was just mountains. It's just crazy, but yeah.
No, well, I mean, living here, bro, like. There's no mountains close to Chicago, bro. You might get to sand dunes, but even the sand dunes ain't big. Yeah, we got some hills, but them hills ain't
rock
big.
Formations. You got some rock formations and
got some landfills and shit, but you don't have
lights and shit around here, but ain't no mountain.
Yeah, you know, you going out there and getting a chance to see like what it's like to. Like, I think the dopest moment for me on tour was when I wasn't even performing. We went to go see Thundercat, Earl Sweatshirt, and Anderson .𝐂𝐿 at Red Rock in Denver.
That sounds like a good time.
Do y'all know what the Red Rock venue looks like at all?
Never
I
been.
know before. It's like where you're in the middle of rocks, of mountains, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh,
so,
I know what you're talking about.
Red Rock is one of the most beautiful venues in the country, bro. You're outside of the Denver city limits, you're in a suburb, but you're in the mountains.
Is
you have
the one where if you're on the stage and you're looking out the views like crazy?
Yes. Like,
okay.
If to be close is dope, but to be far back is potentially the best. We were up there watching Anderson .𝐂𝐿 in front of a packed crowd, looking at the skyline of Denver while watching him at the same time.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, that's dope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a chance to see that, and I was like, damn. Even like Flying Lotus was played up there. That Flying Lotus was definitely inspiration for me. But that was kind of the damn. Okay, that's the next thing. I want that. I want to play that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
That was probably like some of the best shit. Fuck, what else was tight? Oh, nigga. Have y'all eaten Hawaiian food before? Like on purpose? Like not in the middle of the mall and shit?
Like what type of Hawaiian
I can't say that I have.
So because we did 2 shows in the Bay. One was in San Francisco in the Tenderloin. There's a real dope ass soul food restaurant that's around the corner from there. But the Tenderloin is hella weird because it's all homeless people out there. It's kind of like y'all ever watch The Wire? Y'all remember that area that they had that was like it wasn't necessarily, it was a zone that you could go sell drugs and do drugs in.
Amsterdam, yep.
The Tenderloin is like Hamsterdam. It's the wildest shit ever. But the next day we went over, and it was like maybe not even an hour. We went to go do a show in Berkeley.
Okay.
I went out there, went to go grab a tattoo, and then I was talking to my tattoo artist after I got finished. And he was like, I was like, yo, what's some cool Bay Area shit to eat? He was like, yo, the Filipino food is gonna be the move. The Filipino food, the Japanese food, but really, you might want to fuck with the Hawaiian food, because if you like, I forgot what it's called, bro. It's like if you like beef, if you like different porks and shit like that, but being able to mess with sweet and savory. So it was like around the corner. I went to go grab some Hawaiian food for the first time ever. That shit is amazing. I haven't been able to find that shit like that or anywhere in Chicago like that since.
Can't say I'm hip.
And you're a foodie too. I know who to talk to when I go to Chicago if I want to eat.
I love food, bro. Maybe a little too much, but I fucking love food, bro.
Matter of fact, you took us to Milk Tooth.
Wishbone.
And now Wishbone, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Milk Tooth is actually here in the city. Wishbone, but not every time I go to Chicago now, if I'm passing through or anything, I take people to Wishbone off the strength of you taking me there.
Go ahead, get them biscuits, get that jambalaya.
Yes, sir.
Oh, get right, man. Yeah.
The shrimp and grits is fire there.
I wish I could fuck with it. I'm allergic to fucking shellfish, bro.
Man,
but I heard that
shrimp and
my
grits
wife gets that shit all the time. With the cornbread?
Yes. It's fire. Yes,
interesting.
Indeed.
Speaking of shellfish, I'm gonna talk about something that has nothing to do with shellfish.
Fire transition. I like it.
I've been practicing, you know. No. You mentioned a little bit a while ago. You talked about how when you moved to the city, you were working with Ad and Neak. When did you and Ad 2 really start linking up? Because when I first got hip to your guys' music, it was like 2000. When did I meet you? Was it 2010 or 11? Because you did that show with Spitz, with Poppy Hamon, I think, in Blue Island.
No. So that would have been like.
Was that 10? 9?
I want to say that was like 08, 09. So somewhere around there.
Yeah. So that's when I got hip to you. And I think I got hit to Ad after that. But when did you guys, first, like bond over the music and, and how that relationship formed? I don't know if I froze or if y'all froze, but somebody's frozen here. I'm gonna log out and log back in real quick. Try it again here. I feel like I lost you guys there. Yeah.
Nah, you bike.
I think the Twitch just fell off. It says it was a network error.
Did it? Well, we should be back up. I'll try hitting the refresh button and see if we pop back up.
Yeah, it's back up.
Shit, what was the question, bro?
Yeah, so no, I was curious about when your relationship with Ad, like, how did that come about? Like, when did you guys bond over the music stuff? Like, is that how it started, or how'd you guys like really kind of link up?
Shit, I met Ad 3 times, bro, before me and him actually started working. Again, another story of just kind of rotating around each other. There were these events called Kevin Shine used to throw out here. They're like industry events. And I'm not sure if you remember Bullet or Mr. Robotic.
No, I don't.
Okay. Mr. Robotic and Ad went to Luther South here in Chicago. And so they knew each other from high school. He passed me a CD at one of the events. And because he wasn't a big rapper at the time, when I got home, I kind of pitched that shit. Second time I met him, my homie Mark, who's a graphic designer, who went on to like design boots and a bunch of other crazy shit. Works at Leo Burnett now. Shout out to Mark. He introduced me again to him, and I had like this goofy ass sales pitch for songs, because my thing back in the day was I give you a beat and I'll give you the hook. Only thing you have to really, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
I thought I was Switch Beats. And
Let me make it easier for you to work with me.
Yeah. And so I was like, yo, I was talking big shit. And then he didn't fuck with me that time. And then I just moved it to this place called River City here in Chicago, in the South Loop area. And I was struggling to pay rent. And I wasn't smart enough to just go get a job and shit. And so my homie ended up, or Mr. Robotic ended up having him come through, and he kind of gave me a cool business model at the time. It was like, yo, just try to get your business, like just try to give motherfuckers beats for like 50. You'll move a whole bunch of them. And it's not like you don't make them real fast anyway. Just continue to make beats, playing for motherfuckers, sell them for $50. And so I was struggling. Right. And so you sent a couple people through. Ad was one of those people. And shit, my homegirl was over there at the time, and me and her were clowning hard. And he just kind of fell in step. And then shit, literally since that day, and that was like maybe 05 going into 06. No, that was 04 going into 05. Because 05 and 06, I was in New York. 04 going into 05, me and him been best friends ever since. Like that's been this is my best man in my wedding. Like that's how close me am.
Right.
But there was a moment, man, I was in between, I just got back, I think it was like between 06, 07, where we really started working together. I was trying to make my way back to Chicago. I got stuck in Michigan. But an artist I was working with out here, my bad, my voice is cracking like crazy right now.
Oh, man.
But it was an artist, man. He bought me a keyboard. The agreement was he got me the keyboard. I was supposed to make beats for him, but I kept making beats, and I would go boogie out to Chicago for like a month and change. It'd go bounce like in couch surf and shit, and try to get beats placed. And he took his keyboard back. He was like, "Yo, you're not fulfilling your part of the deal. This is bullshit." So he took his keyboard back, and me and him got on the phone one day. He hit me up out of the blue. I was like, man, I told him the situation. He was like, man, I got a keyboard, man, and my dad gave me that I never even touched.
Yep.
And that's how I used to make beats, make beats on Fruity Loops and shit. He ended up sending me that, and then after that, I was like, man, because you sent me this, dog, you never have to pay for a beat again. And I grew into his engineer and his hype man, and then his DJ later on, all sorts of shit, man. That's my guy.
Yeah. Good people. I've only met him a couple times, but he's definitely good people, man.
Yeah, that's
definitely. I was thinking too, man. Like
his albums in 2019.
Yeah, and I definitely thought that was your voice on that one record, too, when it wasn't.
Which one?
The one with the dude screaming all over it. The dude.
They ain't ready. I wrote the hook. Yeah.
Yeah. You told me you wrote the hook,
right.
but for the longest time, it was like a thing going back between the new old heads. We were like, "You think that's Slot?" We're like, "I don't know, man." I was like, "I think it is." I was like, "It could be."
Nah, that's shit. W.L. This Will, artist from out here, man. So what happened? For some reason, me and Ad, I would make beats and shit, and maybe I do some shit that's a little too skippy. Ad is a very particular artist. Things have to be clean cut lines for him. He doesn't really do well with shit that's not. That's too much swing or quantized.
Okay.
And so I sent him a bunch of beats for it, but he wasn't fucking with nothing. And he was like, "You know what I'm gonna do?" I was like, "What's up?" "I'm gonna give you all the samples I want you to use. I was all right, cool. Well, shit. You know, I'm used to making beats for people on the spot. Like that's how me and Neak, that's how I developed that talent with Neak. He would come by, we would just work on shit on the spot. So I felt confident to do it with Ad. And he had like this big, I think the sample was from a FAMU game. They got the audio fucking perfect. And so he was like, yo, sample this shit. And I went ahead and I chopped that shit up for him right there on the spot. And I want to say it was like a month or two later, he was in the process. He had already wrote the rhymes. He recorded multiple demos of it, but we couldn't get the hook the right way. Shit was just, for some reason, the hook was too wordy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, I think I know the perfect voice for it. Why don't you come through? And, you know, they're playing around with ideas or whatever. And I had kind of noticed, so I was like, oh, no, he's getting into his own. Will, just chill out. He got it. And shit, I wrote the hook right there and I told Will how to perform it. And so, shit, Will went crazy on that motherfucker, man. But yeah, I was known for yelling and saying aggressive shit a while ago, man. So I said that's what they would say on brand.
Well, that's why I was like, yeah. I was like, I think this is him, man. I don't know. So, but yeah. Well, even more so, like I remember back when you used to do. I think I told you this before. Back when you used to do the drum swap back in the day, and
right.
And I remember I was like, you were just doing a whole bunch of random shit, man. Shouts to Has Solo because he was in there too when I was in this room, or where I don't even remember where it was. It was like Facebook Live or Instagram or something. I don't even know, but
I think it was a Facebook group. It was before it got weird.
Okay.
It was before people started spamming shit super crazy. But shit, that was the beginning of lo-fi.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so that yeah, I remember being in there and you were just like clowning and doing a bunch of different voices, man. So I just started recording everything you were doing. And I have some really funny like outtakes from that shit.
That's fucking hilarious.
So maybe I'll pull that shit up because that shit would be hilarious.
Yeah, no, we don't have to do that, bro. We good.
There was one. It was like 3 gunshots. It was like pop, 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 pop. I was like, "What's up, pussy?" It was just like the most random. It was the most random shit ever. So recently, I noticed that you've been kind of. I don't know if you're still doing it right. I know right now you recently you've actually picked up messing around with graphic design. You seem to kind of gravitate towards different creative outlets from time to time. You know, like a couple years ago you got into photography pretty deep. Yeah. Are you still into that as much as you were, or is the graphic design kind of taking over, or are you just kind of doing it all?
It's been a lot more graphic design now, just because like normally I would go out and shoot portraits with people, because like so much of that is kind of, you know what I'm saying, people aren't necessarily the most comfortable going to go meet somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like people are catching that fucking virus like crazy, so the photography has slowed down for me in that aspect. That and it's cold as fuck and I don't feel like going outside.
Yeah,
but
definitely cold.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not really a person for the cold. But we would go. I would normally go like I just got my truck, and so what I would do is shit would happen across the city. Like there was a flood here. I remember going on beginning of COVID, like the adjustments people were making. I don't know. It was one of those things. I was like, man, I just kind of want to get good at this shit, because that's how I got into hook writing. I got into hook writing because I was rapping, and I wasn't that great at verses, but because I knew how to explain what I wanted, because I was doing it, and I was able to explain to people, okay, this vocal inflection or whatever. It kind of gave me the confidence to be able to have conversations with engineers and have conversations with artists. So you can learn the jargon. But I know some really dope photographers, and it was my homegirl Chris who kind of pushed me to get into it because I was asking her so many questions about it. Like I'm asking about, all right, there's like a lighting technique. It's like a Pythagorean triangle. The Pythagorean triangle is a 90-degree angle, right?
Shit, man.
Sorry.
I struggle to math. You know what I mean? So
I might be wrong. So, you know what I'm saying? Forgive me. But it's based on a 90-degree angle, right? So, like, right now I'm fucking up. But
yeah, it is, though.
That's an acute angle, ain't it?
A 90-degree?
Yeah, I could be wrong, too.
It could be. It could be.
I'm thinking of the Pythagorean theorem. Is that the A squared plus B squared equals C squared, or is that something else?
Hey, man.
I don't know, man. It's some light shit.
It's some light
shit.
But I kept asking her questions, and you kind of learn about how to silhouette people. Like maybe you don't like. I remember. Y'all ever fuck with foreign exchange? I know you fucked with foreign exchange long.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Y'all remember how like a lot of the album covers would be couples kissing on fences or some shit like that, like the early ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'd be out there in LA or on a beach or something.
Okay. Yeah.
But like the couple would be silhouetted.
And they had shadows. Yeah. Okay.
And so shit, I would sit there and ask her how to do that. Like, yo, how could we do something like this? And what does that look like? And then eventually she suggested like, yo, you should get a camera.
So I guess that was going to be part of my next question was like, do you feel like you picked up the photography because you were kind of also meeting like a need for your own, like the things that you were doing with building your own music? Like it's another thing you could be self-sufficient with, or something that you could at least more easily guide somebody else to do? Or was it just something that, you know, like which one of those things do you think it was, or was it something else? Or was it like a creative need?
It was, I think you get, not to say that you can't get better at something, but sometimes you max out for where you are. And I was having creative blocks with beats and DJing. And so it initially started out as a need, but it turned out to be a way for me to, to be able to express myself when I couldn't figure out how to express myself like this.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know what I'm saying? Like I saw, because you know what I'm saying, some people kind of sit in that shit and wallow. Like if you have a beat block, you might start feeling a way about yourself. But if you have something that you're growing into, like I tell anybody that's gonna start making beats or getting into anything, like, yo, you're lucky if you're dope after 6 months.
Nowadays, that's amazing. For like when I started, I was trash for like 4 years.
Hell yeah, same here, bro. I started making beats when I was like freshman in high school. I didn't really get good till like 2010.
I made like every once in a while, I'd make something that was good, but I didn't know how I made it. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah, it wasn't some shit that you can go reproduce.
Right. So is that the same way that is that the same way that you're attacking the graphic design?
Yeah, I know I'm not gonna be good for a while, but I know, at least for me, because I feel like social media is obviously a way to connect and get out whatever you want, but it's actually kind of a way to keep up with your to be able to date in time and timestamp certain life events and certain interests.
For sure.
And so for me, it was, I kind of learned what it was. I was like, all right, bet. I learned that this shit is audio visual. Let me go ahead and jump into that.
Right.
Like I learned that, you know what I'm saying? Like the thing I focused on for like the last few years has all been audio shit. Either been DJing or producing. And once I kind of realized what the medium was, like I was like, oh shit, well, this is audio visual. This is an audio visual thing. So not only can I score the shit that I like, but I will say though, the big thing that got me into wanting to do graphic design was seeing Flylo in concert when he had his 3D tour.
Right.
I thought it was a bunch of, and it's kind of because I don't listen all the way until I find out I'm wrong and I can't do something, and then I'll go back and I'll listen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll get like a small gym and then think I'll get confident about the small gym that I.
No, for sure. Yeah, I'm the same way.
You know.
A lot of times
fuck. Okay, I gotta go back.
Yeah, and I'll beat it to death too, and then I'll go back and learn the hell out of it, you know. But yeah.
And so I was going through the same shit. I started out with Photoshop, and then I started out with Lightroom, taking photos, putting everything in Lightroom, messing with the shit on my phone. And then I think when I started doing the lo-fi social t-shirts, and I realized I had to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
That was really the intro to me getting into photography.
So you had to figure out how to take good photos so that people would actually want to buy the stuff that you're making.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty common for a lot of us, you know, like creatives that are in this do-it-yourself market. Like, we have to figure out how to do things to help us do the things that we want to do, because shit, man, capital is limited. You know what I mean? And like, I would love to like pay all my friends to do all the things that they do all the time. But at the same time, like, maybe I could pick something up, have another creative outlet, learn something in the process, be able to have better conversations with them on, like, if I work with them in the future on stuff, you know, like, it's a lot easier for me to explain certain graphic things to graphic designers I work with if I understand the terminology a little bit more. And same with video. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And it just helps the whole process. So
yeah, because I mean, I'm not gonna. I would never say I'm the smartest person in the room. It's just for the most part, I'm normally patient enough to know that I don't know some shit. But I'm willing to be patient enough with myself and forgive myself enough, and, you know, forgive fuck ups enough to go through and learn something. And so that's always a part of my process as well. It's like, I always ran into an issue where I would want something, but I wouldn't know how to communicate it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I want this to be black and white, but like brown. Oh, you mean sepia tone?
Right.
Oh,
yeah, fully understand that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate it because, like, I always hated taking photos, or at least having an idea and not being able to fully communicate it to somebody else and sell shit. That was really the first thing for me. It was like, I kind of don't want to go through the bullshit of just showing up and hopefully. Obviously, you want to give everybody their space to be creative, but at the same time, you don't want to just.
I don't want to waste people's time.
You don't want to waste. Exactly. You just don't want to waste people's time. So that's kind of what that shit turned into for me. And then I got more into that. And then my homegirl, Sarah, who's a graphic designer, she used to do a lot of my flyer work. And I'd be really, I guess she would say like, yo, you kind of care more about this shit than my other clients. Like placement, letters, the font, all that shit. You just care a little bit more than my other clients. She didn't tell me to go try this shit though, but we would sit down and go do it together.
Yeah, and I used to run into that issue too. I call it an issue just because I felt like a lot of times I was a lot more picky with what I wanted than maybe the designer was used to. And it wasn't necessarily that I knew what I wanted. It just, a lot of times it was like I knew what I didn't want, and I didn't want it to be a specific way. And I realized it's why I do a little bit of graphic stuff now, because I wanted to be able to learn the terms and be able to share my ideas that I have in my head a little better. But it's like, I'm definitely very picky with like shit that I don't like. I remember when my dude TR and I were working on the logo for Bringing Down the Band. Like we went back and forth on like tedious things over and over and over again. I felt like such an asshole, but I was just like, nah, this ain't it. And I didn't know how to describe it to him. Like I didn't know how to describe to him like what I wanted it to be. And eventually, you know, he was patient enough with me to where we were able to, you know, get it taken care of. But I knew by the end of that process, he was probably like, fuck, bro. You know,
you know what's crazy about, I guess, the expectation of somebody who's indecisive is like, say for instance, like I'll be hungry as fuck. My wife will be hungry as fuck. And I'll start making suggestions, or maybe she will. And she'll know everything that she doesn't want to.
Yeah. That's how I am too.
Nah, I don't want McDonald's. Nah, I don't want Popeyes. Nah, I don't want the halal place. I'm good. And then it's like, all right, but what do you want? I don't know. I'm hungry though.
Yeah.
A lot of that shit is just, at least from what I've kind of like learned about myself and just learned about people, was like, yo, they're only saying that shit because they really don't know they don't know how to categorize it. They don't know the verbiage for it yet. Like I used to think that they sure used to irritate me, bro.
Not for sure. I've irritated many people.
You know? Like end of the night, like, yo, how come I can make a decision and you can't? Like, nah, bro. It's just they don't know how to verbalize that shit yet. Like you might really deep down want Chinese, but you just don't know how to pull that shit out. You don't know how to pull that shit out your mouth. You know what I'm saying?
I think sometimes it comes from a place of legitimately like, this is getting into a deeper conversation, which is cool, but it's like, I don't, sometimes when I think about like things that I want, sometimes I'm so used to just not getting what I want anyways, that it's almost like this internal thing that makes me think to myself, it doesn't really matter. Like, is this person really asking me what I truly want? Or should I just give them like this intermediary option and so like I'm trying to find like something in the middle. You know what I mean? Maybe that's part of it. But a lot of times too, it is just I just don't really know. But
no, it's just,
I don't know.
I think one of the things that, and I don't know, this is shit I've been listening to, like I was telling you about the guy Alan Watts.
Yeah.
It's like when you want, you suffer. Pure and simple. And it's not a bad thing. It's just you suffer. You ache for something. Sometimes you just don't know what the fuck that is. And you can kind of draw like a pretty decent size fine line on it, but like sometimes that shit just kind of misses you in terms of being able to verbalize it. Like,
right.
You know, shit, you might be in a relationship with somebody, man, and I hate to use this shit, but you know, you end up having to read these books before you get married and shit. Like you might find out that your fucking wife's love language is some shit like
gifts,
acts of service. Yeah, gifts, acts of service. And like beforehand, she didn't necessarily know how to let you know that she wanted to be loved or touched or wanted certain things from you. So you used to get into these fucking clashes with each other. But it's until you find out that a certain person has that language, and then the rest of the road is hella clear.
Yep.
You know? That's all
I've
that
had
indecisive shit is.
I mean,
somewhat kinda makes it a little easier to see.
I've had these conversations with my lady too. You know, like because I've read the Love Languages book. You know, and to me it definitely helps. It helped me understand, just because I wasn't familiar with like, and I'm not even talking specifically about relationships. It helped me. I guess I'm talking about relationships, but not necessarily between a man and a woman. Like it helped me understand the way that different relationships in your life can go in different directions. You know, like if I have a friend that is very much like we're close, but we don't hang out very often or we don't talk very often. It's one of those things where and we're still cool, then I know that we have a certain type of like understanding of something. But if I have another friend where I feel like if I don't call him, he's going to feel a certain way,
Right.
then that lets me know that he's not, like, I'm not doing the right thing for our relationship to be, you know, as potentially positive as it potentially could be. Obviously, it's more, I think it's more, it's, I don't want to say more important, but it probably is more important when it's with somebody that you're living with. You know what I mean? But
Hell yeah.
but reading those books and stuff, you know, like on attachment and things like that, like it helped me understand, you know, how to navigate and maneuver a lot better, you know, through just life with people. You know, we are humans and we live with people and have friends and shit. But
Yeah. Oh, well, like, I don't know. Me and my wife were having a conversation about this. I want to say it was a couple nights ago, man, where we were, you know what I'm saying? We were both chatting away. But one of the things that I said to her, and I guess she had interpreted that shit totally wrong, was I was like, yep. She was like, how do you feel about me now? And I was like, yo, I think this is probably the most that I've ever liked you. And for some reason, she heard all the, you didn't like me before?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Selective.
yeah, hella selective. But sometimes, bro, I think when you can kind of take away the noise from the noise of options away from somebody, and you can actually sit there in the room and deal with them, that shit also changes things as well. Like particularly for somebody that you living with, even if it's a platonic relationship, like peace in the house is possibly the most important thing that you can ever acquire.
It's most definitely the most important thing you can acquire.
You ever read up on apology languages?
Nah, but I just found out that I was super shitty at apologizing.
Well,
Man.
Say you're
dog,
not good at it.
Nah, bro, I used to say stupid shit like, I'm sorry I made you feel that way, instead of saying, I'm
Oh.
sorry I did whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that
Shit,
depends on the person.
Half-ass apology.
That's kind of what I like. The love languages thing is the same as there's a whole book on apology languages that's the same way. So like if you said that shit to me, I'm sorry I made you feel that way.
right.
Like where I'm at in my life, it would be fine with me. But a lot of people would probably take offense to that because you feel like you're not, you know, being accountable for
For sure.
for stuff, right?
But
So
I had to get super careful with apologizing, bro. Because sometimes you're not sorry for what the fuck you said.
right.
Like, yo, you triggered me, bro. You brought something out of me that was unnecessary.
Yep.
I responded however I responded, and you got whatever you got. However, I'm not sorry for what I said, but I am sorry for how I made you feel by what I said.
For sure.
I'm sorry that I hurt you.
I mean, that's honest. That's honest, though.
And I can personally appreciate that, but I also know many people that will not take that well at all because they don't feel like you're making an effort to apologize in a specific, you know what I mean? Like it's like people sometimes want you to bend over backwards and say some shit that isn't true or to feel some way that you don't feel. But you know,
but
depends on the relationship.
it definitely depends on the relationship, but more than ever, I think it also depends on like where that person is in their life. Some people want you to be sorry for the whole event. Like being able, like, you can't take back events that happen. You can apologize for the shit that happens at the time. You know what I'm saying? But
You can be remorseful. You can be remorseful. You can be, you know, have different intent for, you know, how you want to, so it doesn't happen again in the same manner and shit like that, you know. But,
for sure. And then it wasn't until this year that I found out what the fuck triggers were.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like shit that maybe you've been feeling forever. You ever notice like one of your homies always gets bent out of shape about something?
Right.
And then you found out like this year because of slang or like the vernacular is changing, like, oh shit, okay, that's triggering.
Yeah.
Got you. I should probably leave him the fuck alone. Got you.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah,
maybe
in the
not
last couple years, I've been able to pay attention to what triggers my anxiety, which is something I've never been able to do before, and it's been pretty dope for the most part. I mean, except the fact that I recognize when I have anxiety now a lot more, which seems it's a little counterproductive.
Does that fuck you up more?
At first, it did. It really did. It was a really cool feeling to be able to like notice when I was like feeling something. I was like, oh shit, I'm going through this right now. But then it got to the point to where I was like, shit, I feel this way a lot, you know, and even the subtle ones, even the subtle anxieties that I would have, I was being able to notice them. So it was like a really cool feeling, you know, to be 37 and to be able to feel that shit. But at the same time, it's like, damn, man, like I don't want to feel fucking bad all the time. No. So, but as I've worked,
sometimes it can be, and this is kind of pulling from Kanye, it can turn into a superpower, and the reason being is, you know what's going on, versus beforehand, it's more like something's just taking over you, and you don't know.
Yeah. And that
you know
is,
what I'm saying? You don't know how to kind of
exactly
combat
right.
it. So once
Exactly
you know
right.
how to face it, it makes it almost like you can embrace it a lot better, because you be like, all right, I know what it is.
It was
Yeah,
a phase
no.
for me. It was a phase
Kinda how
for
to
me. It was
move.
like, it was
Yeah.
a phase. It was like once I first like fully realized how I was able to see it, it was cool, and then it was like a struggle for a few months. But now I'm kind of
Yeah.
at the point now it's like you're able to be more conscious and in control. So yeah, absolutely agree with that.
Because like, I don't know, I feel like that shit comes in two waves, right? So there is you learning that you're affected by something and being aware of it. And then there's like, I don't know, that phase where it's like a really interesting dip where you're on either two sides where like, okay, cool, I know that this triggers me. And because I know this is fucking me up more because I don't know how to process this. And then once you kind of get to the other side, it's like, I know it's triggering me and I also know I have solutions. Or at least I know how to forgive myself in these moments. Like,
right. No, for sure.
I know for me, I think over the last maybe 2 years, I finally learned that like I did have anxiety, do have like some traumas, some PTSD shit. But back in the day, it was just like, oh no, you tweaking. Like he's bugging right now. He's sensitive. He's a weirdo, or you know what I'm saying, like shit like that.
Yep.
And now I'm starting to. I don't know. Maybe it's because of age or whatever the case may be, but I'm starting to find like those. I spent so much of my teens and 20s, not necessarily going out and fight niggas, but like just trying to be tough, trying to almost kind of being a tyrant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then once you kind of get into these 30s, man, you start to realize like, nah, bro, you don't have to do all that weird shit. You can actually figure out how to talk. You can actually figure out how to express yourself. Like there used to be arguments I used to get in with my OG. And I'm not good at arguing, bro. I'll stutter. I don't like arguing. I hate arguing.
I'm the same way.
But you know what I'm saying? For me, I'll shut the fuck up and I'll shut down. And then if you give me some time to think about it, then I'll be able to talk to you about it. But at that time, I can't say it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a thing. Like, oh no, you shut down. Oh shit. Okay. Now I'm a little bit more mindful of these things.
Yeah.
I think I'm learning more about myself more than anything over these last few.
Yeah. What has been well, I mean, I know you mentioned Alan Watts a couple times. Have you been, is anything like, what have you kind of been into like learning, you know, about yourself in the last, you know, let's say 6 to 9 months with COVID or anything? Have you been focusing on anything or on accident? You know what I mean? Like, what have you been kind of like deep diving into?
All right, well, it's two things, right? So there was I'll say what they are and then I'll explain them. So the first thing was I had like this kind of black and white view of negative and bad, good and evil. And I've kind of broken that down. And then the second thing that I found was like meditation and things of that world. And it all kind of came from a conversation that Killer Mike was having with Joe Rogan on Joe Rogan's podcast, right? And they were talking about white Jesus in black families. And it was like, yo, the same way that you guys have white Jesus, white people have little brown man from the East. And I was like, damn, you know what? You know what's crazy? I've been, you know what I'm saying? Like, used to listen, I still listen to him from time to time, but like, I used to listen to Minister Louis Farrakhan a lot, like a lot of 5% teachings, and they will always call each other gods, right? But one of the things that kind of stuck out to me about the conversation that Killer Mike was having with, 'cause this is around trigger warning, his show.
Okay, yeah.
It was like, a lot of times people look outside of themselves for things that are already there that they're not aware. And so you think that the perfection is going to be when you do this next thing. I found that out. I found that was bullshit when I got wed. Like, I had a goal, like a financial goal that I wanted, before I got married. It's like, nah, man, I want to be able to roll like this, that, and the third, and the shit just wasn't happening. And it was crazy was as soon as I did right by my wife, shit started falling in play.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, well, I could have been did this shit. I could have did this shit 5 years ago. I could have did this shit whenever. I didn't have to wait for a quote unquote magical moment to happen for a lot of this shit to work out.
Right.
Growth and development.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you start realizing like, oh man, like some of this, okay, my battery died like a bitch. You just kind of real.
It's nice, pretty colors on the screen, you know.
You know, something nice, something light.
You gotta get one of them plug-in boys, man. The DC or AC batteries or DC batteries.
Shit, God willing, and soon enough, man. I definitely need to get on those.
Shit, I bought one from Amazon for like $10 or something.
And that shit just.
Yeah, I literally have this 𝐒𝐿𝐼X camera that I have right now. I bought it. It's just plugged into the battery spot. It's got a nice little converter. You plug the joint right in. Shit just stays charged. I don't have to charge batteries anymore, which is.
Do you run into
handy.
overheating issues at all with that shit or no?
Not at all.
That's player.
Yeah. Granted, I typically don't go live for multiple hours, so but you know.
It's true shit.
Yeah, I'm about to have to jump off here in a second.
How about that? But I guess one of the things I kind of learned was I didn't have to keep looking outside of myself for better events, for other things. It's just kind of a farce. It's a placebo that you're kind of taught. And so that shit kind of goes back to who you believe in. So if you don't believe that this higher being looks like you might give yourself some excuses. You know what I'm saying? Like you might not necessarily to the fire or are accountable because, oh man, you know, I'm really not this. I'm not what God is. I don't have to necessarily do these things. I can slip. I can fuck up. I can not necessarily take myself as serious or maybe doubt myself when I should be bigging myself up. And so.
Interesting.
So for me, that kind of played into meditation with being able to forgive myself for not being able to focus. Being able to, all right, cool. You know what? I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the fuck up. Now let's get back to it, and being totally comfortable with it. And then you realize, like, the more you talk to other people about things and you hear the verbiage and how you treat yourself versus how they treat themselves, a person might stumble over some words and apologize to you. You didn't do nothing wrong, bro. You just stuttered.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Versus a person that he'll stutter and just keep the conversation going and then not bother him. You're not self-conscious about that shit. That's where I'm working to get now. It's like, yo, let me not be so self-conscious. I don't have to say sorry for shit that doesn't really require that. But I also am able to forgive myself and another person if something happens. And I wasn't so easy or capable of doing that shit prior.
Mm-hmm.
What about y'all? I was gonna say, shit, you just had a child not that long ago, Jay. Like,
yeah.
What have you learned over this shit?
Oh man, it's different, man. I tell you that. I mean, you're married, so you kind of know that change. Adding a child to the denominator is that time 10. You know what I'm saying? It definitely heightens everything because your time is her time or his time, whatever, kind of child you have. It's just different, man. It's like, and it's a good different. I mean, sometimes you get a little, you lack time for yourself for the most part, but I mean, these are moments that you'll never get back. So you have to kind of live in the moment and just wait for you to get your time back as far as that's concerned, So it's definitely different. I myself need to kind of start trying to get into more meditation. I used to do it a little bit back in the day, but I kind of steered away from it. But it's definitely a good practice as far as being able to kind of just tap into yourself and being able to reflect and calm down and let things just be and move accordingly. Definitely takes away from the stress factor too. Very big stress reliever. But the only thing I can say with that is different, man. I'm learning as I'm going. Like, she just turned 1.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. I wouldn't mind having another one. To be honest with you, it's a great blessing.
That's a big statement right there, man. To go through that and then be able to say, "All right, bet, let's pop out 2."
Yeah, I mean, that was my goal from the beginning. I wish we was having twins. Thought I was gonna get 2 immediately and be done, but
got double back, man.
Perfect world. Yeah, got to double back, do it again. But it's great, man. I can't say it has any downs. It's only ups. It's just different paths and things that you have to get used to.
I was gonna say, man, what about you, Lone? What have your major takeaways been through all this COVID shit or shit, just life in general at this point?
I don't know, man. This year's been interesting. I realize that I have to try really hard to stay in contact with people because it's really easy for me to not do so. It's really easy for me to just kind of dissolve into myself, if you will.
For sure.
And so I've realized that how much I just have to be proactive and conscious of looking at relationships from 2 sides. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like I do, but I just realized how much more I just have to make an effort you know, and it's so easy. Sometimes I feel like relationships should come natural, but you know, if you don't put in the work in a relationship, it's going to just gonna kind of fizzle a little bit. And that's pretty much with all of it. So trying to be better with that, you know, understanding communication has been it's kind of the main theme for me, realistically, whether that's with friends or people, but also, you know, with lady I'm seeing. So, you know, and learning all that. Dating somebody whose first language isn't English too is
I was gonna say that's quite the adjustment too.
It's an adjustment, and it's kind of it showed me patience and how much I have matured, and how much you know, all the work that I've kind of like, all this self-improvement work that I've done on myself in the last 3-4 years, I've realized that I actually have made kind of strides in a handful of areas. You know, the books, you know, you talk about love languages and attachments, and I've read books on ego, and you know, I'm so much more like conscious of potentially being wrong now than what I ever was before, and being okay with it.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? Like it's been I think I used to always think that it was I used to think it was related to, was this an ego thing, right? You know, you want to be right. And my mind shift has shifted to, shit, I could be wrong on everything that I'm talking about, but it's okay. You know, and as long as I'm willing and open to figure out, you know,
what is right.
Yeah, what is right for somebody else, or in the way that I'm doing things. It's kind of goes to your black and white comment, you know, like things aren't black and white, you know, like just because I feel some way, if I'm open to potentially being persuaded, it you know, help me understand. You know, if another person wants to actually take the time to help me understand something, then I'm all for it. You know, educate me, help me be a better person, you know, and it's just, you know, it's something that it's just growth through life, you know what I mean? But this kind of been the biggest thing, just kind of like humbling myself as much as I can, and, you know, learning as much as I can to just to kind of, you know, like you guys mentioned meditation and stuff, living in the moment and stuff. I still haven't mastered that as far as much as I want to. So I really want to focus on, you know, that a lot in the future, and enjoying where I'm at right now, because it's so easy, especially in the business of music or being an entrepreneur and all that stuff. It's so easy to focus so much on the future to where you don't enjoy where you're at right now. And I've definitely been guilty of that. So I'm trying to get through that, and trying to not quite like Jim Carrey, the yes man, you know, like where he's saying yes to everything, but I'm trying to be in that spirit in a way, you know, to accept things and kind of move. So I don't know if that had anything to do with COVID.
No,
yeah.
That's what you found out. That was your part of your journey. Like, I remember when we was I got the PUA hella late. So for anyone who doesn't know what the PUA is, that's that unemployment for independent contractors. And so I had a lot of ego around that shit. I did unemployment before. I didn't like how that shit felt. I felt, not necessarily in the sense of, you know, you be getting money from the state. Like, I gotta tell you everything the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, dog, I'm a grown man, bro. This is money I worked for, whatever. And when it came time to actually,
not to mention you've been paying into it forever.
Exactly. And you, feeling a way about it. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of hit me. It was like, all right, bro, like, why the fuck are you having an ego moment about some shit? Like, bro, you need money right now. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, I had, once I kind of got that into my head, and I was feeling so much of a way about it, and I ended up taking a life coach during this shit, during this COVID shit. Like, I want to say for like maybe 2 to 3 months, just to kind of, I was depressed, bro. I was in the bed, not doing shit. and not creating nothing, not putting together, not calling people, not even connecting with people. It was just I was just in the bed, and I knew something was off. I was like, no, I'm kind of good on that. And so got this life coach, man. We talked about that moment. She was like, oh, it seems like you're having an ego block. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is an ego block? It was like, yo, your ego, if you just kind of want to get down to the definition of it, is kind of the thing, not definition, but ego is what gives you your identity. Your ego will, depending on how high or how low it is, you'll be able to do certain things, and certain things are just not in your lexicon and not even shit that you'll ever touch. Mm-hmm. She was like, yo, you having an ego block. Your ego, whatever you believe is a part of your personhood, is blocking you from a blessing. And I was like, and so literally I knocked that shit. Yeah, and I wasn't aware of that shit. I wasn't really giving that enough credit. Artists do this shit all the time, bro. Like, you used to go do shows damn near every week because you love performing, and then you realize, okay, cool, I can get paid more if I do less here, but I gotta move around.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so shit, you kind of fall out of sync with the thing that you love if you ain't really moving around like that, because you're trying to maintain value.
Yeah, your routine is messed up.
Routine's already fucked off. Another one.
It's a wrap for battery number 2.
Yeah, no, I don't think this one was properly charged though.
It's all Gucci.
Yeah, but you end up kind of having these moments of, I don't even want to call them futilities. It is futility. It's stupid.
Yeah. That was I had a really big, it was about 3 years ago. I had a really big moment with understanding egos and my own ego.
I'm sorry, I just read something that was funny.
But
it says real quick. It says pro-Trump riders smeared poop in U.S. Capitol highways during belligerent attack.
I saw that. They were literally smearing poop in the Capitol building. Who does that, man? Like, it was probably the guy that took the podium. He looked like he just did some shit, man. The grin on his face.
He did some shit, literally. He had poop in his hand. His bare hand had poop in it.
That's gross, man. But no, that.
My bad.
I don't hear you, Sly. Is your mic on mute?
My bad. I think we gotta change the name, man. We can't give him Trumpers no more, bro. Like his era is done. I think we need to relate it to something like, yo, we just gotta start calling them the shit stains. Skids, you know what I'm saying?
Poop in their bare hand is an animal and doesn't deserve to walk.
Did y'all see the picture of that old woman who looked like she was completely lost where she was? It was like the old woman. It was like, how did she get up the steps?
Yeah,
she just looked like she's like, hey, well, this is cool. Yeah.
She ain't no business there.
But nah, what I was saying about the ego shit was, I read a couple books. I read The Power Now, and I read by 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐚 Tolle, and I also read A New Earth. And those two books really kind of helped me change my entire mindset. And this was about 3 years ago. And I've reread them a couple times since, and it just kind of, every time I need a reminder, and it's just like a way to move throughout life. A lot of people think that, and they can think however they want, but I'm all for the removal of my ego. That's what I want to do. I want to remove my ego from all situations. Yeah. I feel like that's different from like having confidence in yourself and all this other stuff. Right. But your ego is what, it's like your mind is not you. And you kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. It's like your thought patterns, right? Yeah. What it really kind of explained in those books was how you have your presence in your being, but your being is different from what you are thinking, and your mind has its own control. And so when you get out there and you allow your mind to control all these other things, it can have so much, it can dictate who you are and what you do. But
It's like I didn't realize how much my ego was hurting me until I started seeing my savings go out.
Yeah,
I didn't realize how much my ego was hurting me until I realized that I wasn't really giving my wife her proper attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's DJing played into that shit too. I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you. I know DJing isn't like playing the guitar or fucking being Basquiat, but there's a certain amount of ego that comes, not even ego, it's an ego boost that comes from it. It's a serotonin thing. But
definitely serotonin.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to go into a room. Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
Like, being able to go into a room, control it, have people fall in, like, for you to create moments between people through you playing, that shit fucks with your brain a little bit, and it fucked with mine. And I didn't know at the time. I didn't realize I didn't even want to get credit, but because there was a period of time where like the Twitch shit got slow for me, and I started to take it personally. I started to feel away, and I was like, "Well, shit." The reason I love DJing, and I found out what it was.
Can't hear you again.
Oh, did you lose me? All right,
now
my
you're
bad.
back. Are you good?
I can hear you now.
I didn't want to. I could sit in this chair and make beats over here for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours and not give a fuck. I got about a 2-hour minimum or 2-hour max on these motherfuckers. If I am not getting the right response from people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Jay, I know, I'm guessing you played, like many DJs have played an empty bar. If for some reason when you had to play that 1 hour set at an empty bar versus that 4 hours at a packed place, that shit went by. The 4 hours went by quick as fuck. The 1 hour felt like 4 hours.
You'll be trying to squeeze in more music when your 4 hours is over. You're like, man, I didn't hit this. Let me try to drop a couple more real quick.
You be fighting for this shit.
Yep, that one, because you on a high and you ride in that high. You don't want that high to end. So I totally agree with you. And this COVID shit, the DJing at home is totally different. Because it's like,
dog, I had a packed club every
people
Friday
that are
and
watching
Saturday.
you. Yeah, I done brought my people there. You know what I'm saying? I already know. Being at home, even though you might have some people watching you, it doesn't feel the same. You know, you're going off of a vibe, and if there's nobody's there physically to feel a vibe come up off of,
oh my God,
it's weird. It just feels weird. And then even if your space isn't right, if the sound isn't right, that's why I kind of backed off of it, because I can't set the moment exactly how I want it to where I'm comfortable doing it. So I just left it alone. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I applaud y'all that are still doing it online. I applaud y'all for doing it, but I just have to feel a certain type of way in order to make it feel right and look right. You know what I'm saying?
No, because there's that thing that kind of happens when you DJ for people. You're looking at them. You're looking at them respond to the record, seeing people sing choruses. All sorts of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really get that shit in live time. That person that comes up to you, even the person that asks for a request on some goofy shit, like, you still get something from them. Like, this shit, man, like, and I appreciate it because it's available. So I never want to knock it, but that shit is kind of defeating at a certain period.
That's another thing too. With me having a kid, with me having my baby, I can't play loud like I want to either. So that changes the whole dynamic. I can't get busy without having to worry about, is this a disturbance right now? So yeah, it's definitely weird, man.
Hell yeah, but I guess that's the beauty in all of it. Like you find out all the shit in my teenage and 20s, all that didn't really matter because I guess you didn't have to face them. Like you didn't have to realize it. Like this year, I want to say since like maybe 2018. You know when like your parents used to say shit like it's dangerous out there, be careful. But you used to be hella gung ho. Well, it's not dangerous. I'll be fine.
Said that to me. My mom said that to me, and I got locked up the exact same night. How about that?
You feel me? So like, like I'm getting to the age where I understand my mom freaking out about shit. She used to tell me all the time, like particularly when I was driving, you know, going out with my friends in high school, you know, I borrowed. And she said, yo, I'm not really worried about you or your friends. I'm worried about everybody else affecting you. I'm at that point now where I understand that shit. And not only do I understand, I overly empathize with it.
Yeah.
Because like, shit, over these last 2 years, it felt like everybody dying. It felt like motherfuckers is getting shot everywhere.
That's why the term like, stay out the way is so on point. When I say I'm staying out the way, I mean it. I'll stay out the way.
Bro. You just get, you know what I'm saying? Like you run through those moments where you kind of get the clarification point. All right, cool. I understand why mom felt just like this. I understand why. I understand them conversations that she had with me. Like I grew up in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti are sister cities. We used to go party in Ann Arbor, go kick it or whatever the case may be. But like one of the things that she was, I didn't understand her, hey, you got a nice car that you driving. Like that mom and son or pop and son having the conversation of how to behave with police or how another person may treat you or whatever the case may be. Like now I understand those conversations. I empathize with those conversations. And now it's like, damn, I'm feeling everything that she might have felt when she was 40, 35. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Indeed.
Word.
I'll open it up. If anybody's still in the chat out there that has any questions, throw them to me. I know Mike had a question, but he left, so Mike don't count.
What was his question?
I think it was about...
I'll be right back.
For sure.
Cool. He said, what does growing up in the Midwest, what did that do to your production sound?
I didn't grow up anywhere else, so I don't know how to answer that all the way.
Or maybe how the Midwest is influenced. I guess it's still the same answer, but
yeah. Everybody that I was more so influenced by everybody who did decent from here. Like Dilla, Eminem, Kanye, shit, even Ray Cash, like Bone and shit like that. I think because the Midwest doesn't have its own identity. So the Midwest is essentially an extension of the Bible Belt. Like your cousins from Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas are all up here. So shit.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question either.
Yeah, but you know, at least for me, man, it was like because we weren't the East Coast and we weren't stuck on the East Coast. I got a chance to enjoy the East Coast because I wasn't born in the West Coast and stuck on the West Coast. I got a chance to enjoy the West Coast, the South, and so shit. When things came out, you know what I'm saying? your palete's a little bit more open.
That makes sense. What do you got? What do you got? Like I mean, we talked for a while yesterday, and I don't even remember exactly what you said, but do you have any type of musical endeavor projects kind of like seeping, you know, like do you have any like focus on some stuff you kind of want to put out sometime soon, or any type of I know you mentioned some beat tapes potentially and stuff like that, but is it just kind of like putting some stuff out, or do you have some are you going to put out another Traffic or something like that, or is it kind of steering a little different, or where are you at
right now? Over the last few years, bro, I've done a pretty shitty job of releasing music. In terms of, I have hella music stuck on my computer that'll never see the light of day, and so this year is dedicated to emptying my hard drive. I don't. That's where I'm at right now. It's more cool. I got songs with Ad. I got songs with Neak. I want to get, but I guess to answer the question, my real goal right now is I really want to start releasing music. Why did that happen?
That's weird.
My bad. I think I hit the space bar on it, but I want to start releasing more music, but in various ways. I kind of want to be able to not necessarily do exactly what 𝐂𝐫 has done in terms of sound and music, but I want to be able to release a dope instrumental as a single and people go play it. I want to be able to release a collaboration through me, or, you know what I'm saying, release an album. Like right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a bunch of, I think my initial plan was to start with just Chicago. I think I'm gonna expand it, but I want to re-release Traffic, the volume 1, with all MCs on it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whoever I have relationships with, whoever, you know what I'm saying, younger artists, older artists, whatever. I just want to re-release those songs together, and then, because the thing that I really don't like that what's going on now is like, you can't really get credits for shit. Like, no one really gives a fuck about credits like that. Like, you can't really go. It's not like you getting ready to go grab a CD or a vinyl and then go read the album credits. You go and listen to the music and shit. If you don't have Tidal or Spotify, you don't know who the fuck did what.
Right.
So you kind of have to own the content in that manner.
And so what I'm in the process of doing now is every record, unless it's a whole album, if I produce that shit, I want my feature credit. That's the only way people will know that shit. Just so when it's time, as I'm releasing shit, I build up a catalog over time, and it's not like you have to go search for it.
Yep.
Right.
We started doing that a little bit with section leader stuff. Instead of putting out it just as section leaders, I realized that I can add our individual names as the featured artists as well. And so I would do section leaders with Major 7th, with Lonegevity, with Grits as the main artist. And then when you searched any of us, our names would actually pop up. They kind of frown on it, but whatever.
I should do that shit. Oh, you talking about the DSP frown upon it?
Yeah, the distributor a little bit, but it was there's a way to do it. I think you can only have like so many, you know what I mean? But,
like so many names on it and shit.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, they want you to say various artists and some other shit. But,
then it becomes a compilation project,
which
and that's
is
not what you want.
Correct. Yeah.
Exactly. Word.
So,
but
well, good. I look forward to seeing what you have dropping. You know, we still got to talk about some things too. So
that part. No, I mean shit.
That part.
I think more than ever, I just miss kicking it with the homies, man. So
yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just definitely way different.
Like Terry and I were talking about this not too long ago, but like we've done a podcast every week since COVID started. Started with Zoom, now we're doing Discord, now we're doing live Twitch, all this other stuff. But I mean, I think I've seen Terry once, maybe twice since March. Yeah, you know. So it's just yeah. I mean, luckily I'm still teaching. Like, so I go in every week, and we do have students, so I am able to like get out of the house a little bit. But you know, outside of that,
Yeah, just being able to
locked
go
away.
see people that you actually want to fucking go see. Like
Yeah.
I see the people at the grocery store all the time, bro.
Yeah.
But like being able to go, you know what I'm saying, kick it with the homies.
I'm out in the field, so yeah, that's what's really weird. Like I'm literally most of the time somewhere different every day in these grocery stores, and
yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's so weird, man. So weird because you run into so many different types of people. Run into the people that don't care. You run into the people that obviously care because they're maxed up. But shit is crazy, man. Nobody's policing the shit.
Nah. Like there's no standard bearer.
Nah.
Right.
I mean, some stores do like your
My Myers does
what's
when
it
you walk
called?
in. Like you have to have a mask. There's like a security guy there.
Some stores do, but like a majority of them don't. Like I did a Target today, and they made sure somebody was there at the front to kind of enforce it. Costco enforces it. These go back to the towns that you was talking about too, Slot. The Martinsvilles and the Mooresvilles, those places like that. It's like a red badge of courage for them to be in a store without a mask on because they're looking for somebody to say something to them. It's just weird energy.
That's nuts. I can only imagine how strange that has to be, particularly if you have to be out and about. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm also guessing because there's like everything needs context, right? So not only are you a black male in these parts, but you're a black male with a mask on. It's like being a double minority. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I stay safe, bro. I know up here, man, they make, at least in Chicago, I haven't really ventured out too far. You gotta have a mask on everywhere. That's
Well, you're
just
supposed to here. You're supposed to, but like I said, there's nobody enforcing that shit.
Just like people running up in the Capitol smeared shit all over the place, man. You know, if they let them do it, they're gonna do it.
Run up in your house and I took a shit.
Shouts to
Bars.
Slim Jesus.
Straight up.
that boy is spitting.
Well, cool. I mean, we've been on here for a hot minute, so I mean,
I was gonna say, how long we been on here, man? Like damn near
about 2.5 hours.
that's
So
that.
nice little chat. Nice little chat about random things.
We gonna rap again, Slot.
Man,
Folks
you
don't know
know,
you got a rap album.
that's a fact.
Good morning. My joint.
Thank you, bro. Shit. I might as well. I've been thinking about it. I haven't necessarily, like, I've done demo, but I haven't like committed to it yet. I probably just need to go ahead and just start doing it. It's like, the fuck else do I have?
Yeah, you writing hooks and shit. You might as well go ahead and write the rap.
Yeah, just write everything for everybody and just say, just redo it.
I'm with
Fuck
that.
it.
Shit. Yeah, just take this whole song, bro. It's all yours.
What
I'm
do
with
you,
that.
do you guys think? Do you guys think that we're actually gonna get through this? Like, I know we're gonna get through it, right? But
Yeah.
I'm really curious as to how life will be different here in America moving forward post COVID, and if and what this short stint of a year or maybe 2 years, depending on how long it goes, I'm guessing maybe a year and a half, will affect all the industries we're a part of, how people put out music, how people share things. Like, I feel like this live version aspect of everything we're doing is going to play even a much larger role once things potentially, I don't know, normalize, whatever that means. Do you guys have any predictions about that? Or do you think you can?
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I know for me, the cities that I was avoiding, like if I'm driving back to Indianapolis again, I'm getting a car that can get me all the way there. I'm not, because like what I used to have to do is I get off at Lebanon.
Yeah.
That shit's dead.
So you don't want to stop in any of the small towns and get gas?
Hell no.
Stop at that Burger King in Redlister or whatever that, Remington?
Exactly. Like, no, well, I'm going down 65. As soon as I get outside of a major city, I'm not even fucking with the suburbs. Like I used to stop in Valparaiso because I knew the shit was gonna be cheaper out there. I'm good. I think what ended up happening was that America didn't believe it was that bad here.
Delusion.
And then we're in the process of finding out. I just want to see what we do with that information. Post that shit. Because, I mean, like they say, man, it takes 27 days to form a habit. It's some motherfuckers that's not going to let go of that mask.
Yeah.
It's some motherfuckers that's definitely not going to let go of social distancing. You might be triggering people to put them in a closed space together.
Yep. True.
So I know a lot of people are saying that they're gung-ho for it, but I'm hella curious how that shit's gonna play.
I am too. I'm trying to embrace the interesting way. Well, the interesting way that media is moving. You know, like I may have mentioned this yesterday when I was talking to you, Slot, but like I like the fact that, or maybe it was today when I don't know, but I like the fact that like it forced us to turn our podcast into a live show. You know what I mean? Like it gave us that extra push to turn it into like a live interactive thing where people can actually come and talk to us if they want, you know? And I don't know if we would have ever done that if we hadn't been forced to, you know what I mean? Like we were just kind of cool doing what we were doing. But I think it's interesting, like the DJing aspect of things for like DJs, like even Twitch is about to be dead. Like just for the simple fact that DCMA or DMCA strikes that have been hitting, like technically, I don't know if you guys knew this, it's actually written into the terms of service of Twitch that you cannot actually DJ on Twitch.
I didn't know that shit because they've been letting me
say that again.
It's actually written into the term. Yeah, you technically cannot. You're not legally allowed to DJ on Twitch. It's written into the terms of service. And I would not be surprised if we see once more technology drops, you know, being able to like monitor tracks a little bit better. The technology's already there. But once that really gets invoked, that you'll see streams come up and get taken down like immediate. You know, like immediate copyright hits, you know, and stuff like that.
Well, shit, that's what Instagram was like going crazy with, and Facebook was going crazy with. Like,
Twitch is just lax on it, and they're getting, since COVID started, they've been getting that pushback because a lot of DJs are going to Twitch. It's coming. It's probably coming in the next 6 months, probably sooner, to be honest with you.
Well, because a lot of people are getting hit in waves. So, I'm curious when it's going to hit everybody.
Yeah,
God willing, it doesn't. But
the technology is there. It's an interesting thing. I'm hoping that the music industry and it's like music industry is a bitch, man. Like those major labels are no joke, you know. And on the other side of it, the ASCAPs and the BMIs and the people that are monitoring it, they're no joke either. Like, gotta remember, like YouTube almost got shut down, you know, for this shit. They had to build an entire content ID system. They almost got completely shut down like a decade ago.
I think the ill shit that I've learned since, what was the first thing? They had it was like an acronym that they had when they first started shutting shit down, like Rapid Share, Media Fire,
Oh, you talking? I remember when all that shit happened, but
you
I
remember
don't
like the
remember that.
terminology that they had for that shit at the time? It was like a certain phrase. I remember that was going to be the big thing. Like you couldn't, like I remember you couldn't do freestyles anymore.
Yeah. Over people's music,
Other people's beats and shit. And that was like a regular thing. Like, oh man, I can't jump on this beat and go, you know what I'm saying? Just show people that I'm able, and websites to pick it up because it was mixtape culture.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what comes next, right? Because like, think about this, and this, I guess, just to put it in your mind. MIDI, like the communication between notes to go to different devices,
right,
was a thing that replaced tape.
Right.
So people didn't have to go back through and edit tape. You could just hit a quantize button. You'd be locked in with another person. MIDI was there.
Did you know a new version of MIDI is about to drop?
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because they were already messing with the CV shit, which was kind of the same. But I know there's a new version of it on its way. I'm curious of
feedback.
All right, for sure. What that's gonna look like for music. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's like if shows are gonna be dead, like what's gonna be the thing that replaces shows?
Yeah. I think what's gonna happen, and what I think venues need to, if they haven't, they should already be investing into the live aspect of shows and building those platforms for their own venues. Like right now, if you can book slot A to go and play on your Twitch stream, you know what I mean? Cool. When everything comes back, if you have an audience built that way, you can almost have people viewing and subscribe to your channel. You can have a completely new revenue stream from all across the world that may want to check some stuff out. You know, it may not be as prevalent, you know, as it is going to be right now, because people can't do any of that right now. But I feel like that the virtual world, you know, the Black Mirror shit, like this shit is coming. Like we're in it right now. So, I think the one thing that technology has to catch up with everything is technology has to catch up with the copyright system, like the copyright system and tracking songs and being able to like if I want to play your song,
right,
like I should be able to play your song. You should be able to collect money from it, from the advertisements on the streaming platform that I'm using.
Right.
And we shouldn't have to deal with like weird copyright shit. You know what I mean? Like I think artists are going to have to give up a little bit of the freedom of control over their material if we're going to get into that realm, because it is asking a lot for artists to give up control a little bit, but I think that's where we're going.
So I think that shit kind of goes down a real slippery slope, because majority of the cool medias start from taking another person's IP. Like if we're just talking about DJing, that shit for, you know, doing mixtapes and shit like that, that was the thing at that time. But like now that shit goes into meme culture, where people take a person's photo from whatever, and then they go ahead and reproduce it, and everybody shares that particular thing. I think people have to kind of jump into this share economy a little bit, and not necessarily where you miss out, but like, because I think as soon as they fix the music, then they have to fix photography.
Yeah, absolutely, because that gets jacked probably more than music.
Oh my god! And then or like some goofy shit you said in a TikTok video, another person can go take that shit. Like it's literally a feature in TikTok. Yo, I can take the music and then go do my own video.
That you recorded, And
I can do the same thing.
A lot of the people on TikTok, the ones that recorded it originally, aren't getting the props. Just like the people that was at the All-Star game that were doing the dance. It was like 2 or 3 little white chicks or something that was there doing the little TikTok dance. They ain't even the ones that made up the damn dance.
Yeah,
and got invited.
They just got famous off of it. It's I think we're moving into a realm where I hope we get enough pushback from the artists and everything where there's kind of a synonymous or a synergetic approach of an understanding that, like, if I put music out, like, I want people to be able, I think the future is me put music out and me allow people to do what they want with that content, as long as that credit and that, like you said, IP is traceable in some manner back to me. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's where we're heading. The content ID systems and stuff like that. It's just embracing them and allowing it. And I think it's going to be, like you said, a slippery slope, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be definitely tough because it's, don't get me wrong, like, I upload people's music, you know what I mean? And sometimes artists like it and sometimes artists don't like it. Most of them do like it, but some people want full control of everything they do. And I think that mindset is not the future, unfortunately.
Yeah. So,
you know,
I can see that shit. I mean, because it's almost counterintuitive to the platforms that you're using.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
Like, think of something as audio visual as initially in its inception, right? They had an idea for what you were going to do with that platform. There are people that are going to see your platform and see other possibilities that maybe that you didn't. And now you have to fight that.
Yep.
That's where it gets weird.
Yeah. That's
where it gets tricky. That's where it gets like,
we're going down the path though. So I'm curious. That's the answer, my answer to my own question. And that's the thing I'm most curious about is, like, how does media moving forward in the next few years? You know, like, how does media actually turn into something that is where the owners own what they have, but it's accessible to almost, you know, it's almost like available for people to utilize, because I feel like that's where it's going. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about memes and you think about mixtapes and you think about remixes, or even when people take videos and make weird remixes on top of videos, and like, that's the culture right now is like almost freeware in a hat. But can we capture the original?
Probably has something to do with how we were talking about all these artists keep selling their discographies and things like that.
Yep.
Maybe based off of the uncertainty of how things are going to happen or play out in the future.
Yep. Wouldn't be surprised.
I think if there isn't a big innovation in the industry in a minute in terms of how people are able to showcase their lifestyles without fear of losing a platform because of copyright. Like, one of the biggest stories, actually wasn't even that big of a story. It was just a disappointing story. Like, when Freddie Gibbs' page got taken down.
Yeah.
Off Instagram. That shit was amazing. That's just ignorant as fuck. It was tight. But you have things like that, or you have Tony Baker had
taken down too.
Tony Baker had DCMA claims for some of the videos that he did voiceover.
That was weird.
Yeah.
You said so. The technology is slowly catching up. The technology is already there. It's just, it's not able to be implemented in a massive way in a lot of times. And so
I think it'll be massively. I think it can be massively implemented if people are willing to move into the next thing. Like, record labels used to make, like, Sony used to make sound systems. Akai used to make sound systems before they got into equipment.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, you know what I'm saying, like, different companies that used to make shit. I think Apple is probably one of the last few who actually makes a piece of equipment that goes along with what you're using. I think that's going to have to be the next thing. It's like, people are going to, like, however you're enjoying music is going to have to be a new way. And because music is so much a part of people's lives, I think with blocking people from being able to post about shit, I think one way or another you're gonna end up making music irrelevant or just unusable and inconvenient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we are going down a path where almost anybody's going to be able to make music anyways, just from plug and play, drop sets, you know, the way MIDI advances. I mean, we already have stuff like Unison, you know, where you can just go and take an entire MIDI chord power structure, drop it in, drop a VST on top of it with a drum break, and you have a song. You know what I mean? Like, so it's going that way. You know, I'm not afraid of it necessarily, but it's definitely very interesting to think about how things are really going to change once a lot of this technology is introduced. You know,
I think we're in for a very interesting ride over the next, maybe 10 years in terms of how technology is going to play out. Because I remember Google Glass back in the day?
I don't.
Yeah.
Google Glass was
glass hose, because you could literally go anywhere with them joints on, and you could record if you wanted to. You could be on your social media. It would be just a little glass over your eye, like a little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were getting ready.
Technology's there.
Yeah. Well, so it was hella funny was I was talking to my mom because I guess she got a new Android phone, and I guess the new phone doesn't have a headphone jacker, you know what I'm saying, with regular shit. And I was like, we got into a conversation about Google Glass. I was like, yo, you remember Google Glass, right? They were basically about to put Ray-Bans on your face, and you was going to be able to hear, talk, be able to see all your social media shit, do hand movements, all the shit that's in maybe an iPhone now for accessibilities. You was going to be able to do that shit right from your glasses. Well, Bose has a pair of headphones. They've had them for some time now, where you can get like some real, like some 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿, like some real black ass sunglasses. And the way they have it on the little bar on the side is that'll be the speaker, and it'll be right, and it'll go right behind your ear. And then that way you'll get full range. Bass, highs, all that shit.
Shit's crazy. Y'all remember, so even before the headphones, remember when Bose came out with that surround sound system that was just one front speaker, but it would play shit to where you would hear shit coming from behind you, but it was coming from this one speaker in the front. That was the craziest shit I had ever heard.
It looked like a stick, didn't it? It wasn't super big. It was just like a stick.
It wasn't big at all. I remember going in the store, in the mall. Remember, it was a Bose store in the mall, and you could actually sit down, and it would demo the shit, and you could hear shit coming from every fucking angle, and it was one speaker right there in front of you.
That's crazy. But that's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Like, I think once people begin to value sound again, like back in the day, like when we was growing up, like having a sound system was shit. Having them big ass speakers that you had to get a hella accessories to fuck with. Like you had to get the powered amp, and then you had to have the tape player, the radio, and then the turntable. I think once one of these streaming companies or one of these phone companies I think Apple's starting to do that shit now. But I think once they get some value back into music in terms of actually having hardware with how you enjoy your music, I think that should have changed everything. I think that'll be... I
low-key want an old school stereo system.
I've been wanting one of them, the big, tall, double stack ass speakers.
Yeah, got it, man. With the equalizer and everything.
With the... My dad used to have that whole system. And that's...
Oh yeah, my dad had that. He had the he had a reel-to-reel. Matter of fact, he still got all that shit.
I got two big ass 𝐒𝐿𝐻 speakers still.
No shit.
They're connected to an old school amp that Evan gave me, and I got a Mackie board that runs the mixer for it. As my amp died But I got it's hooked up in the living room.
Nice player. No, I think that's what's gonna be the next move. Like, I think what's gonna happen is in the next 2 to 3 years, people are gonna want comfort. You're gonna see more remakes, sequels to shit. What? Fuck. Get on my motherfucking nerve. I'm playing. Let me stop. But I think everybody's gonna end up reverting back to old shit like that. Because like I'm already seeing people put cassette players back in Target, and you
Really?
can go cop vinyl at Target right now.
I knew vinyl. Vinyl had its best year again.
Cool.
Yeah.
If I can't hold a person, fuck, I definitely want some art,
Yeah, definitely art.
something tactile. Like even I was playing the other day, just on some, just kicking it by myself shit. I just wanted to do a vinyl set just to see if I could do it. And bro,
Yeah.
I probably had the most fun I had in a long time just playing vinyl.
Yeah,
I think
vinyl was fun.
I think people
That's
are gonna
how I
start getting
learned. I
into it.
taught myself DJing on vinyl before I even got Serato shit.
Shit, I worked backwards. I got Serato and then I got because I got too comfortable looking at the transients.
Yep.
And then after that I was like, all right, cool. I can blend off ear so I don't even have to look at the screen. It's a different vibe. But shit,
Definitely.
fellas.
I
like
appreciate you. Yeah, I was getting ready to wrap up, man. I appreciate you chatting with us on our first official live stream backstage.
For
We've
sure.
done the backstage, but we haven't done it in this type of format before. So definitely appreciate you as always for chatting with us and talking about feelings and life and all that other stuff.
Hell yeah, man. Shit, y'all the homies, man. I appreciate y'all, bro. For real.
Yeah.
It was good.
Already, you already know.
Yeah.